Sunday, which means it's the fun day, and we have some killer matchups for you. Killer because the teams that lose this are out of the tournament for good, you know? We've had our fun over the last few weeks, you know? We've seen the upper bracket, we've seen games with maybe slightly lower stakes, some kind of one-sided matchups as well, but this is where the teams really need to fly out. This is where they need to give it their all. This is where they need to power through, or else they're going to be leaving the tournament for good. We've seen some tremendous lower bracket runs before, so let's see if any of these teams can give us something similar today. And for the first two of those matchups, it's going to be myself, Egdar, along with OutcastAndrew to take you through these two matchups.
Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Happy Sunday. Happy good morning, good evening, good afternoon. We've got Catalyst versus SOR coming up here, Egdar. I'm really excited for it. Like you said, facing elimination every game in the lower bracket now. They lose, they are gone, they are out of the AHL for 2025. We have an interesting matchup. Catalyst, they lost just barely. We had a lot of sweeps in the first round of 16 in the upper bracket, but this was not one of them. Catalyst lost by a hair, 2-3 or 3-2, depending on who you're rooting for, to Team Umbrella. They are here to make a mark and say, nope, we're not done in this tournament yet, versus Team SOR. Team SOR did go 0-3, but Team SOR went up against Team Invictus, which, as those of you know, very, very strong team, not to take away from Team Umbrella, but very, very strong team. So I had a little bit of a taller order there. So SOR is going to be looking to get their first win in this tournament. We got some good matches. Our first two matches are going to be the AHL balancing, and we've got a Myers for you, which is basically just a Myers on an indoor map. It's not really, there's no real, too many gimmicks to it, but we're going to have Myers on the Hawkins laboratory. After that, we're going to be having the AHL balancing for Doctor on Midwich, small map with a big scream. And for that one, of course, we will have the Doctor rocking the Erie King. The last three matches will be standard gold balancing. We'll have the Plague on DDS, Dead Dog Saloon. If we need the fourth and fifth matches, we will have the Cenobite on the Wrecker's Yard, and our tiebreaker will be the Dark Lord Dracula with our randomized chaos if we do go all the way to 5 games today. Egdar, of those 5 games, what are you looking forward to today? I will say personally, Doctor on Midwich is a pain in the butt, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, basically anything that makes the survivors suffer as much as humanly possible going to be just fine by me because I'm a killer main. But no, I mean, I want to get to... Honestly, I wouldn't mind getting all the way to Dark Lord on Cold Tower. Myers can be quite an explosive set to watch. We saw yesterday that the results really can vary for Myers. It's one where, you know, the expected result is still something which is up in the air, despite the fact that there's now a fair bit of game tape on it. You know, we're seeing 4Ks being traded between top teams, and then top teams underperforming and not being able to secure their 4Ks either. So basically the Survivor's going to have to get quite creative in a set like that. And then, yeah, if we can also get all the way over to the Dark Lord, that's going to be interesting. Not just because it's Dark Lord, and Dark Lord I find to be quite a fun and engaging killer, but also because of the unique set 5 rules that we have. Whenever we get to a 5th and final set in a day, we spin the wheel, and we've only seen, I believe, one of those so far, which was actually in the last matchup that Catalyst played in their 5-set series against Umbrella. So for that one, if we do end up getting there, it's going to be standard balancing, but then one extra rule added in. It's like a mishmash between the first 2 sets, which are guaranteed to be Halloween sets, the second 2 sets, which are guaranteed to be gold standard set. We throw in something a little off kilter, something with a little je ne sais quoi, we should say.
If I remember correctly, I was not casting that match, but I did watch it. I believe that they managed the randomized rule was that the killer had to bring corrupt intervention.
Yeah,
right?
It was it was nurse. Killer had to bring
no
corrupt,
perks.
and the survivors could have nothing.
Yeah, only one perk in the game for just nurse. And of all killers to only have 1 perk against nurse, wild.
the cursed monkey, the cursed monkey poor wish, right? So yeah, we're going to be getting into the game relatively shortly as well. We want to keep this action coming as fast as we possibly can today. These teams are sure as hell ready to go, and as we've said, there's quite a lot on the line. You mentioned earlier about the pathway for these two teams with Catalyst. That one was really on a knife's edge. I think Catalyst fell maybe a little early. If we're being completely honest with ourselves, Catalyst looked to be favored to win that. I believe they ended up getting reverse swept in that by Umbrella, which is a hell of a result in your first matchup. So hopefully for a team like Catalyst, they certainly have the talent on their team to put this away, but don't think that SORO are just going to, roll over and die, right? You look at the Team SORO roster, you have some very recognizable names, a sort of off-kilter North American team, players like Finesse, Meds, Lux, and Ron and Fancy, and then you have a couple of extra players as well from other areas of the world. So you have Garafa from Brazil, Jaden from Mexico, and Easy from Japan. You can pair that over to the Catalyst roster, which is kind of a predominantly Italian team. Most of these players did represent Italy in the recent World Cup, in Paliloop, Drago, Urbex, and Mad, and then a couple of other key players like Heinz, Zaiju, Mystic, and FaZe. And speaking of Mad, they're going to be ones opening things up here. Remember, it's a do-or-die situation right now, so for one of these teams, it's time to do, and the other, it's sure as hell time to die.
We got Myers on Hawkins. We were talking about this. I was having a conversation with some of our team pre-stream today, and we were talking about how this is actually turning out to be a very interesting map where I don't know if we're looking. You might want to look down. Okay, we're going to get some full stock here on that Survivor working the upstairs generator, and we have already charged our tier 3. The Slaughtering Strike makes a lot. I mean, these pallets in Hawkins are pretty weak. I call them good pallets in a sense that they create a lot. There aren't a lot of god pallets. There's a lot of pallets that create interesting interactions between survivors and killers, giving a lot of agency. Unfortunately, Slaughtering Strike kind of takes away a lot of that. Great attempt there by Mad. Couldn't quite get fully around the corner. And now we're going to have to sit here and see. We stabbed over that. I didn't even know you could do that. Wow, that's awesome. I know there's a lot of things in the game where you can stab over, but we stabbed right over that. Going to the build, the killer build, I want to point out the fact we are rocking Shaman Myers today. We had four totem perks. One of them is gone. That would have been Undying. So we still have a handful of totems available. Ruin is on the map, so that's the only one the Sorars will be aware of. Once the first generator pops, we will see that Wretched Fate come into effect for this person we're chasing right now, Finesse. Wretched Fate will cause Finesse to repair significantly slower. Can't quite. The last few seconds of Slaughtering Strike makes it so that it's very difficult to kind of curve around a corner, but it looks like we're probably going to go down here. That's another very quick down. Finesse down. Meds off hook now, Egdar.
Yeah, you think that they'd be maybe slightly more disciplined from these survivors, but no, having 2 downs so early into a matchup against a Myers is kind of tough. It's not like people won't get downed eventually, but, 55 seconds is when this first one came in, which is certainly above the mark for what we generally expect to see on Myers by quite a big margin, actually. 145 is the average down timer. So, Mad already putting in quite a lot of work here. Survivors are going to have to try their best to bounce back. This window can be an infinite, even against the Slaughtering Strike, but the problem isn't necessarily the window itself, it's where the hell do you go after the window, which is a question that Meds has actually answered pretty neatly.
Also, the key to making that an infinite window is to not get into chase, and Meds must have held the shift button for an extra second there when we vaulted that window. We got into chase, Meds knew what was going on, and because of that had to leave the window before it blocked, and you got stuck on one side or the other. Knowing the third vault is coming in, the killer can full send it to the window, knowing there's nothing they can do about it. And that's going to be that. I mean, decent chase there by Meds compared to the first one. I got to say, that first down, Egdar, we were playing that door gen, which has a really, really bad palette, as you saw. I feel like we weren't in stealth mode at that point. Seeing somebody in that area was a little bit, hearing the terror radius of the killer, I feel like Meds was a little bit overzealous and hiding, sticking the generator room. I think we should have been getting to a pallet. One more note I want to point out quickly. Wretched Fate is active. We did not get a Devour stack on that first unhook because we were too close when we downed Finesse.
And I'm not sure how I feel about the Devour pick here. If this were Legion or something like that, where you where the survivors are simply not allowed to cleanse totems, that makes a lot of sense, right? But, you know, Devour is like the definition of the Hex perk, where, you know, every Hex perk, even if it gets cleansed super quickly, will be able to provide you a lot of value throughout the match. Devour is so uniquely, like, do or die, it will either win you games or be completely useless after 4 seconds, is, yeah, kind of messed up. And Mad actually just going to be sticking around. You always have a survivor position, like, close enough to...
There is one. I caught him. He was right through that door. I caught an edge of him, but apparently the killer didn't see him. I swear I saw like an elbow come through. I don't. Yeah, it was here. It was Grafa.
It's very risky to try and save against a killer like Myers who can charge up to that power, and it's not like there's any visual indicator as to when that might be 99. You know, like, you just kind of have to play it by ear. Jaden has not played it by ear, and instead just playing it by sheer vibes and aura, apparently, running straight into the killer the moment they get that they get their slaughtering strike online, and also the moment that Meds has died. So for Mad, there's been relatively little downtime. You didn't have to go to find another survivor. The survivor just kind of fell very lovingly and tenderly into your arms.
How did Jaden become the obsession? It was Finesse earlier. I don't know how that happened. There was no For the People on the play, was there? Maybe there was and I missed it while we were in the chase. Maybe I missed the For the People. I'm not entirely sure.
To be honest, not necessarily been keeping up with it. Mad right now has to try and keep up with Garafa, taking this chase for as long as possible. But this is a disastrous spot for the survivors to be in. I feel like it's something being a bit understated right now. Garafa's dead. If you catch Finesse having rotated for this unhook here, this is a problem. You still have a small amount of time left on your slaughtering strike. Don't think you quite have the distance to be able to make it, but still, a very deadly situation. You know, you have one survivor fresh off the hook, can be put right back on it to be dead on hook. Finesse has to go and pick up Garafa in the meantime, and Jaden, oh, I was convinced that would be a hit through the pallet, but Jaden drops it at the perfect time. Frame later, and he would have been completely dead. And in fairness, Jaden is buying the time that is necessary for these survivors to recover, but what can they recover from? Like a 4K3 to a 4K2? It's slim pickings for against a Myers.
That was a rough room too. With the generator in that room, we had to get down the stairs and out the door on the opposite side of the stairs entrance, or whatever you want to call it. So that's always a rough room when you're playing against killer. All you can do is run up, run down, and hopefully get over. Look at all these pallets down on the map, and Matt, our killer, is just happy to just keep doing chases, and if pallets down or not, we're not getting a whole lot of it's not saving our life too much. Hopefully Finesse can get getting another gen done right now. With Garafa injured, we're not going to see a we're listening through the door here. We hear
Garafa's nearby.
Garafa, yeah. And they do get a gen done. That's actually really strong. Whenever you find yourself in a situation like this, you always have to take things one step at a time. You're not trying to get 3 gens done and get out the door. You're trying to get 1 gen done so it's not a 4K3. Now you're done down to 2 gens. Now your goal is keep everybody alive long enough to get 1 more gen, and then give your killer the best possible chance to get a map of reaction.
And Andrew, that's not just any gen. That is gen number 700 of AHL thus far. These fives are really powering these exit gates, or so you would think. I don't think that's something which Survivor team from SOR here are going to be able to manage necessarily. Trying to path as best as humanly possible if you're Jaden, but it's all going to be for nothing right now. For Survivors, it really is just a play for the win con kind of angle. Resetting would be a bad idea, so either you try and double up a distant gen and, you know, pray that Mad doesn't come to it, or more realistically, you try and have 1 survivor bait chase, and then just kind of, you know, keep cycling players in and out of the generator, because Mad will have to chase someone eventually. Survivors, you just need to try and drag things out for as long as possible. Generally, the killer is the one that wants to do that to slow the game down, stop getting away from them, but in a situation like this, the roles are very much reversed.
It's really interesting, too. We're finding ourselves, I mean, this is looking like a 4K2 situation. I don't see any way of getting away from it, but it's interesting because, I mean, we saw some really, really great games yesterday. We broke, what totem was that? We broke Devour.
Ruin, I believe.
That was almost, Ruin, sorry, you're right, yeah.
Either Ruin or Devour. It's not like Devour's really gotten any value today, so it wouldn't be surprising. The problem is that does kind of tip Mad off to, like, the approximate location of Finesse. at a moment where maybe it makes sense to be doing gens instead of totems this late into the match. Mad, interestingly, has put this pallet back up so they're able to use it, but by using it, you do have to, throw it down at some point. So we're going to see a 4K2 officially come out, which, if I am correct, is the best result that we've seen from Amaya's in all Hallows League. I know that yesterday in the Elysium Reassure match we saw 4Ks, but I believe those were 4K1s. On average, the survivors are completing 4.5 generators a game. So, this is already a very strong result for Catalyst. They seem very well primed early on to take, at minimum, the Maya set. And when that's done, we can think about the future.
So, going back to the way SOR played, again, I feel like there's a handful of categorical errors that really kind of set them off on the wrong path to take the lead in this match. At the very beginning, our first down on the Jake there, again, we were fully charged, I believe, on our maybe I was wrong. Maybe he was 99 and he hadn't quite got to, because once you've fully stocked, you can't go stealth anymore. So maybe we were 99 and maybe I missed that. So I'll give a benefit of the doubt. But regardless, we had no eyes on the killer and we're playing in a exit gate generator. Very dangerous spot. That pallet is very, very weak. It's very easy to force the survivor to make a play and then react to it. So that's the way we started out. There was a couple other times too, like when on Jaden's last chase there, we were playing that, again, not the best pallet in the world, the one right by the window to the portal room. But Jaden kind of panicked and left the pallet and ran for the window, and we were never going to make that. Like, we were in no world were we making that window unless Myers tripped over and fell on his face. So I'm wondering if there's
weirder things have happened in DBDLeague games. I would not be surprised.
I'm wondering if that was a panic move, or maybe we're a little bit jittery and we need to kind of calm down and get playing our game. But I saw that and I was like, I felt like that was a move I would make, which is not a compliment. So, anyways.
$1 million moves coming out from OutcastAndrew.
Don't copy me. Don't copy me. Don't copy me.
Yes, it's a very tough time. We did say coming into this that we would favor Catalyst in the head-to-head matchup. Of course, whoever ends up winning this, because we have the results from yesterday's upper bracket matches, we know exactly who they're going to be facing. So I feel like either of these teams against Exodus could actually be a quite, even matchup. The further we get into this tournament, the closer, the more hotly contested and even all these matchups are. Is definitely going to be something very interesting to look out for. For now, we just have to wait for the Sorrow Killer to come out here. I don't think the Catalyst survivors are going to struggle in a spot like this. It's not impossible for Myers to get 4Ks under these conditions, but 4K1 is at the absolute minimum, right? You get a 4K2 on Myers and you're thinking, okay, I've done quite exceptionally today. So it's sometimes a set is won in the first half. Now, I've been proven wrong before, so I will shut my big fat mouth.
4K2 it's so funny. There's miles between 4K2 and 4K1, just given the fact that when you get a 4K1 can happen for multiple reasons. Obviously, killer pressure and survivor mistakes and whatever you want to say, right? That can happen. But the reality is that when you get down to the last generator, you're usually down to a 3v1. The last generator, you could have a 3 generator situation, or at least at least not a great split for the survivors. There's lots going on there. To get to 4K1 is usually a bit of an easier task, especially if you know that's your goal, right? So the survivors coming in knowing, okay, look, we don't have to worry about splitting up a really tight 3-gen. All we got to do is get all the generators done, except for that really tight 3-gen, and we're good, right? So it gives definitely advantage to knowing your win condition. So the survivors of Catalyst will have to react to that. I do want to make one comment outside of this matchup, just for people who weren't here yesterday. Everyone in the lower bracket needs to be living in fear and terror. Truly on theme for the All Hallows League. you can go and you can win today and you can win tomorrow, but eventually in this lower bracket, you're going to be coming up against Elysium because Elysium lost their matchup yesterday. Egdar and I cast that, and we we saw a 3-1 versus Reassure, who Reassure moved on to the group of 4 in the winners bracket. So eventually these guys are going to be coming up against Elysium. So this is the easy games, guys. These are the ones. These are the warm ups. The real fight comes later.
I don't think the players should be trying to think about that. You know what I mean? Like it is a looming presence in the future. I think that in this tournament format, you're much better just taking this one game at a time, right? You know, the big dog of Elysium, yeah, that's in the future. We know for a fact that it is, but like that is a bridge that can be crossed when you get to it, right? At the end of the day, you don't get there if you don't win the matchup right in front of you. So there's absolutely no reason for either of these teams to be thinking too much about other matches. Such an obsession with what we could be seeing that we're not focused on what we are currently seeing. You know what I mean? So right now it's time to lock in for both these teams. You aren't going to even have to think about that matchup if you don't win this game in the first place. So right now it's on the...
While we're getting reset up here, Egdar, I was just more commenting to the viewers about the fact that Elysium is in the lower bracket, given the surprising outcome yesterday. But I totally agree with what you were saying, by the way, about that you can't worry about that. You have to worry about what's in front of you. Getting a ruling here, it's going to be a no fault restart. So just a do over here. I believe that means everyone can change their perks if they want to.
Yeah, should they so wish. Should be fine for both of these teams here. So something that I wanted to address, because even for a Myers in Evil Incarnate mode, I was thinking that was like way too quick of a palette break, and so I did a little bit of digging, and as it turns out, we have 2 add-ons which we have not seen in a single AHL Myers set thus far. The Glass Fragment, number 1, which increases your speed with the Slaughtering Strike, while making it a bit slower to charge, so giving yourself a little more range on it at the cost of it taking longer to charge up. But also the Hairbrush, which is a really interesting add-on. When Evil Incarnate activates, the Hairbrush will trigger its effect, which is you get a 50% buff to the break of your next pallet. Which is certainly like, it sounds good, sure, but like there's also the jewelry box where you just get Stalk faster, and then the Vanity Mirror where you get to read Survivor auras for 4 seconds when Evil Incarnate ends. I'm not sure that's necessarily the choice of all time, but you know what? It seems like it's going to be what Jaden wants to go with anyway.
So we had a pretty strong start by Jaden there, so hopefully we will see something similar. Even with a no-fault restart, it's sometimes really demoralizing if you don't have as good a start. You know, it's nobody's fault, and what happens, but... so hopefully we see a decent start here from Jaden. We are chasing our survivor here, gets away. We definitely saw the Ruin Totem there, so I'm sure that's going to get communicated, so we may not get as much Ruin life this game. Again, we are seeing a lot of Gen pressure when the killer is nearby. I mean, I know it's just a little bit of stock, and maybe the idea is, look, we can't stop ourselves from getting stocked entirely, but I don't know. Seeing people working a generator when the killer comes around the corner, when other people have the eye on the killer, always makes me go,
It's Myers. How the hell is a Myers going to close distance? You know what I mean? It's also another point, which is that when in Pursuer mode, you're not completely undetectable as Myers, but you only have a... I'm going to stop what I was saying, and I'll let the silence speak for itself.
I was like, did your mic cut out?
Has the silence spoken yet? Yeah, I think it has. So, it was a play to go for, certainly. To try and drop the pallet in Jaden's face. You misjudged quite harshly, and so the first down comes in at 1:15, which is still slower than what Mad was able to achieve. And the pickup also comes through slightly slower as well. So even despite Mad fumbling immeasurably, which, you know, happens to the best of us, Mad still can pat himself on the back saying, you know what, at least I got a quicker down on my survivor side. And by 20 seconds, sorry, on my killer side. And by 20 seconds as well, which is sure as hell not a bad thing.
First generator pops. We are seeing Deadman switch on this generator here. I always find Deadman switch with Ruins a little bit, obviously both very strong perks, but unfortunately that generator will not be regressing while blocked. I don't think it's a real big deal. There wasn't a whole lot of progress on it, but just something to keep in mind for future generators. Back when we got that down on Mad, we obviously had, I think it was Drago there, but also another survivor scratch marks were running away from the body when we picked it up. So we kind of had good information on all three survivors because one was running away, one was nearby, and the other one finished that generator. So, you know, Jaden kind of had some good information there. And again, we're seeing a lot of scratch marks here. Not a lot of stealth play by the survivors in coming in for this save. More kind of leaving trails. Maybe it's a bait play. Maybe it's a, hey, I'm going to leave scratch marks over here while you creep in over there. I don't like how much range we're giving on Mad. As the jet, okay, it did go struggle. That always terrifies me that you give a lot, you know, you leave the tether a little bit too long, and someone sneaks in for the unhook at 68 seconds.
Yeah, and of course it's going to be harder to call out exactly where Myers is. What I said earlier before we got rudely interrupted by the mad pallet incident, where. You know, sometimes you're completely undetectable as Myers. Only now that you've activated your evil incarnate, you actually have a regular terror radius, and the survivors will have any indication of where you are. Even if you're just in pursuer mode and you're trying to like actively stalk up survivors, you still have a 16-meter terror radius, which is much shorter than usual. Second gen is going to go by. Remember that the survivors only need to get 2 more of these completed to get their win. So for Mad. Well, never mind, one more clear. Tie condition already met. And, like, Mad, you don't even need to have a fantastic chase, right? And you won't, in fairness, but, like, but, like, you have, you have that gen in the portal room, which I hesitate to call it a safe gen, per se, but, like, you can see the killer coming, and, like, you can basically delay quite a lot of time onto it, right? Plus, we're splitting on generators anyway, which makes sense on the exact opposite sides of the map, so Jaden can be dragged in any whichever direction. We have a small amount of time left on the slaughtering strike, and, you know, I like the idea. I like the idea from Jaden there, but Pallyloop going to be a bit safer now. Likely just going to eat an M1 and a pallet drop, and try and make some distance off the back of it.
I love swing through pallets like that. That's the kind of gameplay I enjoy watching, I enjoy doing. None of this respect. Who respects pallets? Pallets don't deserve your respect.
Pallyloop might disagree with you, because that's literally, like, the guy's name.
Yeah, oh, that's fair.
It's so insane how the guy's name is so similar to Pallet's Loop, which I just want to say repeatedly, but it's just not possible. Drago coming in and take a hit is certainly a ballsy move, but they have recognized that Myers is out of the Evil Incarnate and hasn't stalked whatsoever, so it is safe to take the hit. And this is a situation where it does make a lot of sense to be being very careful. And yeah, some of that cross-regional ping going to be coming in once more. This generator over in the portal room, however, is getting cranked quite aggressively by Mystic. It's at 75% now. Realistically, it has like 20 more seconds on it. Maybe a bit less on account of the pain resonance, actually. So coming in clutch, maybe extending that time to about 40 seconds or so. This is kind of on a knife's edge between a tie and a Catalyst win right now.
Great play there. I want to point this out. Really, really great play there. They recognized Pain Res was going to come in, so we had Mystic on the the portal room generator. We're going to have a quick down here. We got to get the main building right away. I'm calling it main building. Oh, the Pain Res is close. He's going to get the Pain Res. No, he's going to get it. There's one right here in the corner here. Anyways, they DMS'd the generator without the progress to let Mystic try and get the generator done. Now, this is scary because now we've tried to stick the generator. Okay, Jaden. Okay, this is good now for the survivors. Jaden is going to go back, check the generator. This is not good. Never mind. Take it back. It was good. It was good, thinking he was going to go check the generator, but now we're looking like we're going to get a hit. And we may see a tie game, in which case, we might see a tiebreaker on Hawkins. That would be wild.
Yeah, that it would. That is assuming that Pallyloop can actually get this unhook, which will barely be able to do, but it's just a cycle right now, you know. It's much easier to unhook a survivor, arguably, and get a trade than it is to pick them off the floor, especially because, you know, they have to recover so much, and Jane has no reason to be abandoning Drago here, so it's going to take a miraculous play from these survivors
to be able to extend their life here and to avoid that tiebreak.
I think we got to kick this pallet here. Keep in mind, too, even this pallet is making it likely that they might actually get a pickup and this game might not quite be over yet. I don't know why that pallet was infinite. You could go to that pallet infinitely and you make
because you have to pick up your teammates. It's all well and good running an infinite pallet forever, but like...
True.
If your teammates are around here...
Yeah, it's going to be it. Anyways, I was going to say, that generator, yeah, it's over anyway. The generator was regressing, so we would have been back to square one, even if we picked up. So that's going to be a 4K too. So, everybody out there, we haven't had a ton of these, but we have in AHL season 2025, we have a new tiebreaker. What we're going to be doing is having a 2v1, which is actually a series of two 1v1s. We will have the killer, who played both matches, versus two of the survivors on each team who played the matches, and we're gonna do a good old-fashioned 1v1. Now I'm gonna have to wait and see. I'm not 100% sure what is considered Shaq's starting point on here. Yeah, like where do you start, right? But you do a 1v1 and you clock the time, and then the second person will do the 1v1, and the combined time is your team score. Whoever gets longer wins. If it's within 1 second, we roll it back. So tiebreaker here, and yeah, Egdar, sorry, do you want to speculate? I would say probably the main building window. Maybe, but we'll have to see where this starts.
I am, this is why we have really clever match officials working hard in the background. Yeah, so I'm guessing it would be the main section. I think point is, provided that it's just something agreed between the teams and like it's consistent for both of them, that's fine, right? Like maybe we force maybe we try and force basement at the bottom of the staircase, and like they both go from around basement area. Maybe they just choose the portal room and they choose like a specific spot to start in. I'd say like we could look to the 1v1 ladder bouncing, but I would hesitate to say if any 1v1s are held on Hawkins. Especially because Hawkins
I'm not sure.
Gone from the game for a long time, so I am interested to see how this works out.
If somebody pointed to me and said, "Andrew, we need a 1v1, pick it now," I would put Myers at the bottom of the stairs in the portal room, and I'd have the survivor at the window, and it starts when they vault the window. That's what I would say. And maybe no swing. I don't know. That's vault the window, no swing from the killer, and start there. But, I mean, we're going to have to wait and see. So looking at, besides the starting point, by the way, that's purely my opinion. That is not official. I'm waiting to get the official ruling because, again, we're in kind of unknown territory here. What I'm thinking are,
we're not playing the unknown right now. We're not playing the
Say that again, sorry?
We're not playing the unknown right now.
Ha 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 ha. All right. I made an overzealous comment earlier, and I was like, unintended pun. There are those long rooms have some strong pallets. One of them arguably a god pallet if you come from the correct zone. Like where Mad went down on the final chase there, that god pallet, but it's from the side we were coming from. It wasn't a god pallet because you can just go up the stairs and drop down. That's a really strong room with good pallet. We have that long room with the two pallets that you can kind of run around the loop with the scaffolding in the middle. That's a really strong one. So I think as the survivors, your strategy here is going to be try and avoid the crummy 50-50 pallets and really make distance to get to the good pallets, and at least use those up before you start taking damage.
2-1 nature also has to be examined. It is sort of to be said, like normally you can kind of play it where it's like, okay, well, one player takes one side of the map, one player takes the other, and that can be like a decent strategy. On Hawkins, there are basically two big corridors to go down, and you can think, okay, well, I'll use this corridor, use the other corridor, and then loser buys the drinks kind of situation. It can be one person plays with, say, finesse and life to make some distance, though I hesitate to say if we'd have two perks in against a Myers. To put it bluntly, how uncharted of territory this is, I've had a quick look through the I've taken the liberty of having a quick look through the 1v1 balancing sheets and everything. Myers just isn't on there. I don't think we have balance for Maya.
Fair. I mean, when you think about Myers, the way he plays is, you know, build up power from a distance, or not always from a distance, but build up power and then go. It's
don't
not
have to.
1v.
Do you have the time? Actually, now I'm thinking, like, a new Myers, that might actually be the play to, like, stalk up, bring, if you're able to, add-ons which enable the slaughtering strike to be stronger, and then just, like, play around that. You would be bringing, you would, like, absolutely be bringing along the jewelry box. Like, that's a no-brainer. Stalk quicker at shorter range as well. But yeah, you're seeing something for the first time historically, which we have ever seen in DBDLeague. Maya's 1v1s. Now, granted, it's a 2v1, but, you know, still, like, normally I would just go with, like, okay, well, like, it's Maya's. We could go with, like, Trapper balancing on, like, Suffo Pit, and then it will play relatively similar. Just say Maya's can't use power, and it's like, okay, well, this should be, like, a relatively similar kind of rule set. But nope, that's not what we're going to be seeing today at all. Because,
you're right.
Because
this
it has to be on because it has to be on the map that was played. So yeah, it is absolutely going to be on Hawkins.
It's super interesting because what do you do here? Do you just play do you play Trapper with a kitchen knife? Or do you actually stalk and then use your power? I think that honestly, because the stalk will take some time, but if you can trap them, I think maybe chase until you get them in a situation where they can't really leave the area very well. Then maybe stalk up and pop tier 3. But I mean, then at the same time, maybe you'd be quicker just to play a weak pallet, give them a smack, chase them down, and do it again. This is going to be really interesting, both as far as like how the players play it, how the survivors play it, but also like there's literally a choice. Do you do option A or option B as the killer? This is way more interesting now that I'm thinking about it.
Who the hell knows, man?
I think you power. I think potentially you trap them at a crummy pallet where they have to go back and forth. And then the survivor might even then have to just say, okay, screw it. I'm going to leave. You can take an M1 on me because I'm leaving this bad pallet and getting to a better pallet before you suddenly turn into, you know, Dash Slop Myers, you know, as DBD Twitter has been calling him. So.
Well, like, remember, like, before, like, the stalk would have taken, like, quite a long time. But the thing is, now we're at a spot where, like, if it's just one survivor and either you can stand still or, like, hold on for a bit, it only takes anywhere from, like, 5 to, like, 7 or 8 seconds, realistically, before you can stalk someone, which is, you know, not a forever amount of time, right? So it is reasonable to assume that you should be able to stalk someone quickly, and then you actually have the dash slop to use. Yeah, it's dash slop, sure, but like it works, you know. It definitely works. We should.
I hate that term. I shouldn't have used that term. I
love that term. It's one of my favorite things.
It seems like the number one I want to complain about everything about on DBD online term that everybody uses. Oh, another dash slap. Oh, anti-tunnel or anti.
I will say it is hilarious that, like, because, like, hear me out, right? It was just quite funny, and like I don't think there was like anything ill meant behind it for quite a while when people were talking about dash slop. And then, like, as it was gaining popularity, they turned Myers into a dash killer, bro. Yeah. It's like, what? At that point, sometimes the voices get a bit too loud. But you know, I think it was there's a voice in behavior's ear where it's like, make another dash killer.
I think the anger at how strong Ghoul was when he came out, like from the average DBD player, I think the complaint about going against Ghoul constantly and finding that they were having a hard time countering him, I think that's when dash slop.
But now popular. We're getting into another debate entirely. Like, what is a dash? You know, it's like when I'm discussing with my friends, like, what the hell is a city type of situation. Like, Myers obviously has a dash now. Wesker has a dash. Is Ghoul a dash? You know what I mean? Because it's more like a fling than a dash.
Is Billy a dash? Billy, I don't consider a dash.
Billy is. I consider Billy a dash. I consider. Do you?
I think it's a sprint, and I think it's sprint because dash to me is like Dracula.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are debating what is a dash in DBD.
Like a dash is a short sprint. Whereas, like, you know, Billy's a long distance runner. You know what I'm saying? Anyways.
Okay, all right. Hear me out. When Wraith uncloaks and gets that increased lunge, is that a dash?
Oh my God, is Wraith dash slop? That's a good question. Wow. Oh my goodness. Given the way we're defining it, yes. Although I feel gross saying it, you know.
I cannot wait
disgusting.
to watch this later. I cannot wait to watch this later, and then just see like chat's debate
Dear
about
chat,
what is a dash.
What is a dash? Is Billy a dash or a sprint? Is Wraith a dash?
Right. Point is, right, we have a level of maturity that the players have, which we sure as hell don't, because they're going to be lining up here. The survivors, they can give themselves a quick minute to scout out the maps. It is general 1v1 rules, which is like, scout out the map, just to don't be obnoxious, you know what I mean? So, seems like here in the portal room is where we're going to start. The killer and survivor communicating the only way they know how, which is by pointing and hitting random things. And it seems like this is gonna essentially function as the shack palette
I don't know about that. As far as shack, that is not a strong balance.
No, but like, you know,
force the break. Maybe force the break. If you have to break it, that could be a start. Anyway, we'll see. Obviously, it looks like there's still communication going.
Yeah,
so again,
I'm just sure where to start. Basically,
just apologies to the viewers. This is just, you know, it's a new thing for us, so we are we're figuring it out here. We just want to make sure both sides understand, so it's fair and we don't have to do a restart. So our team is communicating, making sure both sides know exactly what they're doing.
Something interesting is Palaloop has balanced and Lython, which honestly I don't hate. Like, you don't need a ton of help. Okay, we are going to start this chase. We can talk about Palaloop when we get into that chase coming out. Jaden only has the brutal strength on, so just kind of wants to brute force these pallets. It works well because you can stack it up with Maya's kind of innate power, and this first hit is going to be coming in, I say quite quickly, but now it is exactly as you said, right? We force them into a kind of garbage spot in the map where we can force as much stalk as possible. Now for Jaden, seems like you're switching up. Your priority is just getting that, but Mystic just G's away, and you know that's actually really strong right now. Could have been an M1 situation there, but no, Jaden going to continue to develop the stalk.
And now this is exactly, we've seen a down on this palette literally in one of these matches today. So this is very interesting. Unfortunately, I was going to say, how disciplined can Mystic be? And I would say pretty disciplined, but got stuck just on the inside. Couldn't quite, like, just sort of stuck in the middle of the palette. Couldn't quite just get to the side that needed to be and drop the pallet in time. The pallet does go down. Mystics is going to go down. The official time is coming through real quickly. We'll bring you up to date on that.
I got 49 seconds. We'll see what
I wasn't timing. I'm literally just, it is 49 seconds. You're right. Now we're going to have Palaloop. Well, what we count on all your fingers and toes?
Yeah, all 49 of them. But it would have been really annoying if that chase went to 50 seconds. We would have been screwed.
That's only 49, right? Yeah. So same chase again. Now the interesting thing is we ran this direction and we dropped a few pallets. So maybe we'll see Palais sort of veer off towards the center of the map as opposed to we had to wait for.
We also have to wait for power to expire.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's what we had to do. And I think we're starting up. We're instantly going. So here we go. Here we go.
Okay. Let's see exactly what we can make of this one right now, Mr. Jaden. Your first chase was pretty good, but again, like now Palaloop kind of knows the play, which is like don't take your time, as odd as that says, right? Like try not to get forced into a corner. Just try and always be making distance. Even if you get a vault like this, it's very slow amount of stalk progress coming through. And yeah, okay, Palaloop right now making a whole buttload of distance. About 30 seconds have progressed in this chase alone. We're nowhere near a stalk, and we're nowhere near an injury either.
Yeah, we're about 50% there. I'm doing a really good job of staying unpredictable. Keep in mind, too, though, I just want to throw this out there because this came into effect last time when Mystic kind of ran into the killer. We're undetectable, remember? So if you lose sight on the killer, you can come from any direction, and that's kind of what happened there. So we dropped the pallet. We are going to get tier 3, and now... How well can we play? Did we lose him? Oh, we did, but we're not gonna. We make that? Never mind. Okay. All right. Pallet's doing really well here.
Yep, that they are. Now it's a bit of a mind game to play around. Jaden can go to either side of this. This is a decent palette to play around. Obviously, you have the one side which is a bit longer, but I think Jaden's barely made enough distance there. Yeah, it was a close. It was a close one, but I think it. But I think it barely made distance. The total time on the board is going to be 2 minutes and 11 seconds.
That was so close because that was finesse over that pallet too. Got both feet up and over that pallet, but just barely missed. That was a really good dash there by Jaden as well. But wow, really, really well played. Really well played by Pallyloop there. Got a pretty good time. Set themselves up after 49 seconds isn't bad, but I also don't know what the heck an average is. So we'll have to see. You know.
Yeah, we don't know anything, ladies and gentlemen.
We don't know anything. Really
yes, as we say, no, we know what we can, but in a situation like this, it's quite tough. But yeah, no, Pallyloop did a fantastic job there. Remember, the first chase came in at 49 seconds, with the total time being 2:11. We're looking at about a, can I do maths? Only very basic. We're looking at like a 120. Chase, so getting 30 seconds on your other part is quite nice, and the game plan is actually exactly how you drew it up. So congratulations to Mr. Andrew, gets the award for the cleverest person in the world, as well as the oldest, but that's another point entirely.
I 50-50 the options there, and I heard that. Back off.
But yeah,
I am definitely the unk in the room. But anyways,
yes, it's a really good strategy, especially because often on Hawkins you are forced to go into the play around the pallets, right? And so either you're being forced to play a garbage pallet, at which point you're just kind of locked in place for a long period of time. Either that, or you're forced to. Just like play around it when the killer has power, at which point, it's a relatively simple affair, like if there's some odd geometry that could get in the way of the dash, that could be a problem. If the loop is too long, then the dash can struggle as well. But, these are short loops with relatively straight lines and simple angles to play around. Amaya's with power is unironically pretty deadly at like any of these tiles.
I want to go back to, again, Pallyloop, and no disrespect to Mystics, but Pallyloop really, really understood the assignment. It was, maybe it was a communication because Mystics could communicate not mistakes, but kind of how they got stuck in that kind of bad pallet in that long room where, okay, if I try and play the pallet left, right, I'm just standing here and I'm a giant target for this stalking killer. And so as a result, Pallyloop decided to, nope, I'm not getting stuck in those situations. And if I catch you doing that, I'm going to leave. I know Mystics left as well, but we gave up quite a bit of stock there and just really did a really good job of chaining tiles together, chaining rooms together, breaking line of sight, being a little bit unpredictable, and it really, really paid off. I think that hopefully the survivors, Finesse and Meds for Team Sorrow will have a similar run, and we'll see a close matchup here. So we are loading in now, and we'll have to see how this goes.
Hear me out, Andrew. Hold the W.
I mean, it does seem like a good plan in most DBD situations against most killers. So I can't find a flaw.
I say hold W with an asterisk of hold W while also making sure to be breaking LRS. If you don't break LRS, then like you've thrown the game basically. But like, yeah, like we just established, and I spent so long essentially glazing Myers about how good he is at like these short tiles. That's cool. What can he do to catch up distance wise?
Yeah, you said that in the match, and you're right. You literally nothing. Well, and okay, so again, I'm not harping on Mystics here. It just was the path that we took, and the first pallet thrown by Mystics was that sort of like really crappy like hallway tile where it was like the barrels on the like it's a straight line and you drop the pallet, so you have to go around. Myers goes right around it and comes. I feel like that pallet throw with this where Myers is going to stalk you. I think you just press W. Don't waste the time dropping the pallet. Press W. Run to the next room and around the corner. So. Taking a lead off of what you just said, I think you're absolutely right. So this might be an interesting room. This is very strong pallets, but also you can give up stock around them, right? So you have to make distance. Yeah, this is going to be a really strong room for Finesse. Oh,
So
yeah, okay.
Game of Foot, which I believe
Not
will
bad.
only apply in the chase of finesse. So Mad has to have a damn good chase onto finesse right here, and finesse just taking absolutely no risks whatsoever, breaking as many pallets as possible, which in fairness, Game of Foot is certainly helping with Mad trying to cut off. It's also quite a consistent map for survivors, is another thing that I wanted to point out. First Stalk comes in at the 40-second mark. Oh, that's going to be a drop, but I think Finesse had the bounce landing to be able to make distance off the back of it. I thought Finesse was dead to rights there. Now we get over to another tile where simply it's too long to try and play around with the slaughtering strike, so instead you just have to go right through it. This one can be a bit trickier, but nope, Finesse just going to continue holding forward. This one, however, is a bit rougher. And oh, okay, we actually get stuck for a moment, and we use the finesse to make some distance.
Oh, good try.
Yeah, good try. That comes in on my timer about 120, so 119 is going to be the exact measurement. So basically, now Meds to kind of clutch up a win in this set is going to need to have about a minute of chase time.
Yeah, wow, that was some really good play there. Interesting note, this is totally unrelated and not important in most situations, but fun fact, it looks like Game of Foot does not activate when you use Slaughtering Strike to break a pallet. I may be wrong, but it seemed like it didn't go off. I might not be correctly understanding the interaction of the perk, but it didn't appear that when we Slaughtering Striked a pallet that we got the haste, so I'll have to see here.
And it's a really tough situation for Mad to be in because you have to charge up this stalk and get the down, and you know everything is ticking on that clock. Plus these pallets are being pre-dropped by Meds, making so much distance away as well. Like, we finally have the power now, but if you don't get this down immediately, then unfortunately you end up just losing this set.
Yeah, and you know that press W plant, and now we're gonna hit this window, and basically
it's taken too long. It's taken too long.
This window's over. This window's over. You're not gonna catch up on this window with Slaughtering Strike because you're not gonna be able to get it. We can triple vault this window, and we're gone forever. Yeah. And we managed to lose chase. Yeah, it's over. That's over. So that's gonna be. I'm not looking at the time, but I gotta say that's gotta be enough. So that's gonna be a gonna be a win for Sorrow on the first set here. Wow.
Okay.
Oh!
Yeah, that's certainly...
All right, good. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, get him.
It will be for naught, unfortunately. The combined chase timer comes in at 2 minutes 36, so about 25 seconds over what we saw before. Means that, yeah, Team Sorrow are going to be taking the win on this first set. Something a bit unexpected. I really thought that after watching that first performance from Mad, that this would be... So this would be in the bag of Catalyst, but no, they seem to be letting this one slip away from them just a little bit.
It's strange too, because I'm not gonna harp on the survivors specifically again, but the survivors of Sorrow, I was calling out some very specific errors that I saw, like making some poor choices or maybe making some panic moves. But in the end, Jaden was able to come back and do a really great job on Killer, match the result of Mad, and yeah. I mean, that was actually not a little bit closer than I thought it was. I genuinely thought that the time was more split than that. But 25 seconds is, significant, but not huge. Like it's not close, but it's not a blowout either. So really well played. And frankly, just looking at the entire set, we've got our first matchup of the day here for you folks. Catalyst and Sorrow tie and go to 1v1s, and 25 seconds is the difference between the wins. So I don't know, Egdar. Dracula's not off the table. I'm just saying.
Yep, hell of a thing. Honestly, if we keep getting evenly matched like this, I think we're going to be seeing a couple of 2v1 tiebreakers, right? What I want to see is who selected this killer. It was Catalyst. Ooh.
Oh, sorry, you mean Doctor?
Myers.
Myers was Catalyst, yes.
Yeah, Myers was Catalyst, yeah. So they end up losing on their own pick, even if it is a close one. That's certainly not ideal for them. Obviously, Sorrow are going to be going over to Doctor on Midwich, so in theory they have an advantage here. Going with kills that they favor a bit more, but I feel like it's something which only really comes into its own when we get onto the gold standard sets, because I will say it now, and I'll say this in like the best and most respectful way possible. The AHL sets are like Mickey Mouse sets where anything can happen, and like and nothing is real anymore, basically, right? So I'm not surprised if these teams will give up the sets that they select, whether that be for Myers or Doctor, or Indoor Billy or Indoor Blight or any other weird and wacky, wonderful invention of the rule committee, which we can see coming out soon. But when we get over to the gold standard sets, it's going to matter a lot more. But for now, Sorrow can put a notch in their cap. They're up 1-0. They're a step closer to staying alive in this series.
Doctor on Midwich, the only AHL rule we have is the Doctor must use Iridescent King, which is essentially rolling a big chunk of Doctor's add-ons into one. So basically, we're going to be seeing a lot of things. We're going to be seeing funky skill checks. We're going to be seeing hallucinated palettes more. We're going to be seeing Doctor hallucinations and things like that. I did cast one of these last week, and we saw Merciless Storm, and we saw some wild skill checks with Merciless Storm. I don't think it's a good pick, but it can definitely lead to that wild back and forth, crazy all over the screen skill checks. So that could be interesting. The big strength we're going to see here, I think, Egdar, is the fact that on Midwich, basically, if you're in the middle of the map, you can hit almost everybody with your giant shock blast. So you're going to get tons of information and be able to get both passive general information and also some passive slowdown, because every time you shock someone to tier 3, they're not repairing, they're not healing, they got to snap out of it.
Yeah, but what we did see yesterday is that despite a lot of things going in the favor of Doctor, can struggle a little bit. Again, we don't have tons of game tape, but a current 4K rate of 40%, which is not bad, but you know, that can be skewed by very strong teams going against much weaker teams. I'm interested to see how that would pan out. I think yesterday, when we saw two very strong teams in the form of Praxis and Exodus go against each other, it was like a 5-stage versus a 4-stage, right? Like the survivors are having a fun time. They're still able to cyberbully Doctor quite a lot, even though the Eerie King is a fun add-on. Realistically, it isn't like fantastic quality wise, right? Honestly, if I had to pick between the Eerie add-ons, I'd rather have the Iridescent Queen, the ability to kind of passively spread shock around the survivors. The Eerie King, because like all of the madness effects that you get from the Eerie King are cool and all, but they're mostly gimmicky, and I mean it in the best way possible. Game recognizes game. I'm a walking gimmick, right? But like, you know, the illusory terror radius or the illusory red stain, or well, sometimes there'll be a fake Doctor that appears, right? Like, no comp player is getting caught out by any of those things. I say that we did actually see one of the players in the Exodus Praxis matchup fall for a fake illusionary palette, but you know, we don't talk
those
about
happen
that.
more. No, but those happen. Like, unless you have complete conversations, like unless you completely call out every single palette and you're totally aware at all times, like that'll happen. The thing that I find, the hallucinated Doctors aren't so much,
but they're information.
There's so much information because the Doctor sees them, right? I mean, the alternative is, you know, for folks who aren't familiar with standard builds, you're probably going to see range add-on. And then also the typical add-on you'll find in a gold standard match.
On this map, it would be discipline. With what we've seen in the last few days, yeah.
Discipline
instead of
is
the
everything.
high stimulus electrode.
Oh, really? They're doing discipline and king. Okay, that's interesting. The ones I did, they were doing range.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you don't need the range. Just because it's such a small map, right?
You're right. Yeah, that's fair. I was gonna say though, the standard are the range and discipline, and then often you would see. I guess I cast the abnormal
gold standard.
No, I'm saying I cast an AHL one last week, but I think the two teams both ran the electrode, and I guess they were the anomaly. They were the weird ones, and yeah, discipline's very strong. It gets your shock. It's not just strong; it's also one of those things where if you're used to running it, it's really hard to get used to not running it, you know, like, because you know the time it takes for your eruption, like the shock to go off. So yeah, I can see that. Good hit on Palette here. Wasn't able to make that God Palette just yet.
It also depends on exactly what indoor map we're going to, right? Like, you know that you don't need the range on Midwich because like every room is so enclosed and short. But maybe if you're on something a bit bigger, even though it's still an indoor map like RPD, it can benefit you. So that's the decision.
That would have hit right there.
Exactly.
That would have hit with distance. Sorry.
Yeah, right.
I'm vindicated.
Yes, OutcastAndrew was right all along, making a hashtag and tweeting.
One time.
But no, now Palloop coming over to this window. Such an awkward one to play around for both sides, and I think Jane's been able to just make enough distance to get through onto that hit. So first down going to be coming through. 1 minute and 16 seconds. 116. Looking at the AHL Doctor, that's about bang on average, with 112 being the exact number that we're looking at. Interesting that the gens are really not progressed like at all. And another thing, Jane's has 2 static blasts now, which have hit everyone. Jane has been going out of his way to go to the center of the map to make sure the static blasts are as effective as possible. Again, like tiers 1 to 2, they'll be whatever. A little bit of information with more illusory doctors, the odd miss skill check, but I say the odd one as opposed to everyone. Why is Renata? I mean, it's got to be scene partner, right?
Can I jump in here? Look at all the information from those illusory doctors. We know where all 4 survivors are. There's one upstairs in that room behind us. There was one downstairs below us on the opposite side of the map where we're at. And there's one in science room, and we're chasing after Palloop. So much information from those illusory doctors. It's crazy. We know where everybody is. We know the 3 generators that are being progressed.
Yeah, and soon the survivor's going to be tier 3 as well. They're going to have to be dealing with the snap out of it, passive slowdown that Jane's getting, along with the current slowdown, which lends itself quite well to that, with the the Ruin, Dead Man switch, the Wretched Fate. It seems like Mad wanted to body block here, but it just wasn't possible. Jaden absolutely shamoned there to make some distance, and knows that Mad is like around, and would like to leave here, like with a hit, but no, Mad's been able to leave. That is now, 3 survivors that have to snap out of it. Which, basically takes priority over everything. I believe you're still able to unhook people when you're in tier 3, but it's not like you can reset them on the hook, right? So Drago already going to snap out of it, revert back to tier 1. Mad going to have to do something similar, and while you're doing that, guess who's hanging on the hook and is going to be dying soon? Palloop. Also, note the amount of generators which are completed right now.
0, yeah. You also can't, like, if you can get the unhook and you can work exit gates, but you can't for the people, for instance. There's so much you can't do when you're fully in tier 3 madness. So looks like we are going to see our first and potentially just about second generators pop here. So survivors are trying to trade Hallows' life for some gen progress, but this is a very interesting hook position here. It's very body blockable from the from the corner side here. I feel like it's very easy to body block here if somebody's coming through the door behind you or coming down this hall. So it might be difficult to come in for save. The survivors might not try. We DMS'd the generator at 99, which I don't hate. That's fine. Like, it's going to get done, and it gives other people the chance to work on things and remove. And yeah, they're all sticking the gens. Palloop is dead. We're going to sacrifice Pally for 2 generators. Egdar, I don't think 2 gens for a life is enough. I want 3 at least. 3 is even barely,
Why not 12 generators while we're at it?
All the generators. On this map.
No, I agree. I feel like the survivor gen efficiency has been somewhat compromised. It is not the most spectacular that it could be. Now Mad's in tier 3, so that is that's the Wretched Fate survivor who was already having an absolutely terrible, no good time. Jaden doesn't even take the chase onto Mad, because it's like, well, that guy sure as hell ain't doing anything right now. But a drop down to return back to the generators, it seems. Jaden, it's very odd to say, like, having a 3-gen setup, because, like, it's Midwich, right? But these gens are pretty concentrated in one side of the map and could eventually be one corner as well. Jaden looks very eager to hold all of that space.
It's really interesting, too. We were kind of just holding, survivors weren't in danger of taking a hit there. There's one survivor down one hallway. We had Drago down this side, and we had Mad down the other side. No one was in danger of getting hit, but we were literally camping the 2 active generators. and watching Ruin tick down and remove all their progress. So while the survivors weren't really in danger, all of their, all of that progress was gone. Okay. I find that very interesting. I feel like that is a shockable palette. Maybe we don't want to mess around with it and not time it without range, maybe not go for it, but I feel like that there was an opportunity to play that, but I don't necessarily hate that. Forget it. I'm going to kick this God palette and move on and go back to these gens, frankly. Lots of progress on that one. Again, like you said, Mad is our obsession, working this upstairs generator at 66% efficiency, 1/3 slower than the rest of the survivors. So, honestly, the worst person to chase is Mad. Let Mad be one of the ones who gets to stick the generators, because you're getting a discount there.
It's basically I hate Mad kind of situation happening right now. Mystic procking up to tier 3 in the chase. Of course, not the injured survivor, so even if it hits Taken here, you're going to have the big advantage of Doctor having no catch-up ability, and you can make a whole lot of distance. But honestly, Mystic buying a lot of time at this pallet, it's not a matter of if you get hit at a pallet against Doctor, it's about when. But Mystic able to make that win quite significantly far into the future. So, we get the one injury, but then we have to go. And now Mad's in tier 3 again. Mad is just not having a fun time.
Mad is having a rough day.
Like, wretched Faye, and now you're mad, and you have to snap out of it, and then you hop back on the gen, and you're doing it slowly, and then Jaden appears, you have to run away, you get hit with another static blast, you're tier 3 again, it's a tough life for the lad. Plus, all the totems are still up, including the Ruin Undying that you should have mentioned, and the Wretched Fate. Survivors are allowed to cleanse them in this set, so they're just sort of choosing not to, instead focusing their time on working gens, but I'm fine with that in a 4v1, not in a 3v1. I think, what we saw a play yesterday, I forget which team it was, which was essentially perfect, where the second the 3v1 began, they had someone on the Ruin to get rid of it,
So, I agree with you. I don't know what it could be. Partially, we gotta get these gens done. Let's go. It could also be Midwich has got, other than the library totem, Midwich has some pretty hard to find totems sometimes. They may just not have got eyes on them. We haven't seen every survivor all the time, so someone might have done a cursory glance here or there, seeing if we can find a pallet. I'm sorry, find a totem, but it could just be a matter of we haven't spotted them and we don't know. We don't want to waste all of our time looking for them. So. One is in courtyard, another one is nearby the generators, sort of top of the stairs in that locker room, right above right here where Mystic is. There's one up there. We are going to get a hook on Drago. It looks like even through Wretched Fade, we're going to get this gen unless we get a shock, which comes in right now, and he gets tier 3! That generator's not going to pop! It was 99%! Oh my goodness! Poor Mad!
Jaden isn't contesting it directly, though. But, I don't know if right now we're on the heels of Mad or Mystic. I think Mad, I don't see any blood trails, who's possibly going for the unhook. Well, not actually. No, Mad actually stuck around the whole time. It was Mystic who sent it over there. So Mad's generator will be completed, fortunately. Mystics, however, could use a bit of work. And I think that barring any kind of miracle from the survivors, 4K2 looks to be the play right now. Mystic, the shock effect doesn't wear off quite quick enough to be able to get that killed there. And now Mad has to make the treacherous journey all the way over to the unhook of Drago, which is a problem because, killer's hot on your heels, young man.
This is wild. I just noticed Mad is the head-on gamer. Remember back in the first chase where Mad was... I knew Mad had Metal Man, so I thought maybe we were hanging out to try and tank some hits and build up our Metal Man stacks. They were the head-on play. So when we looked in the locker...
Oh, undying value!
Oh, not where the aura... Yeah, the aura. Oh, my goodness. Still gets away from it, though. Great play by Mad. This palette is not great, but we kind of have permanent wall hacks here. Good enough chase from Mad, but Drago has not picked up Mystic yet. Is it just that he didn't... Oh, I had to go down and around to avoid the chase. That's unfortunate. I feel like that pickup needed to happen faster.
It's just a really unfortunate ping-pong effect. And also, if you down Drago here, Mystic can't pick anyone up.
because, you know, tier 3 madness and all that, right? So it's a hell of a situation for the Survivors to be facing, and the 4K2 looks all but certain right now. Mystic being chased around this pallet. Jaden opting not to shock, instead goes for, you know, an ambitious swing. You are on ping, of course. Might as well go for those. What can you realistically lose? We're in Bloodlust. Now Mystic going to be making a bit of distance. Generally, we don't see Bloodlust proc on Doctors that much because they're spamming their power and chase so much, and you try and get the drop at the perfect time. Never mind, you get auto-range, and now you get missed just completely.
These survivors are playing fantastically. I mean, like, this game was over. Mad is healthy now. Mad is healthy. Drago's getting healed. Mystic hasn't been hooked yet. This game was over 2 seconds ago. This was, by the way, you were saying I think this is gonna be a 4K2. I think that was a minor misplay. Jaden was chasing Mystic, which is gonna happen. Whatever. I'm not, you know, slandering for. But if you'd gone to that generator, and I don't think they realized how much pressure there was. If Jaden had gone to Mad's generator, would have seen it and chased Mad's instead. I think that you would have been in a better shape. I think we were too conscious of camping the hook and chasing someone off of the unhook, and so we let that gen go. Anyways, that's totally out the window now, because now we're looking at, we still have we have Mystics on the ground, which we really need to fix, but the game's not over. We have 1 injury, 1 down, or I think we're gonna take this hook now. Yeah, but this game is still active. This is crazy. This is still winnable by the survivors. Hard, but winnable.
Definitely. What would have been an everyone immediately falls over and dies situation has now become an everyone slowly falls over and dies situation for the survivors. But at least while they're slowly falling, they could, you know, connect a couple of wires and complete a generator while they're at it, you know what I mean? It's going to be Drago on this top floor, going to be brutally chased down by Jaden here. I say brutally, it's more slow walking while there's no chase currently ongoing from the Doctor. The constant tier 3 screaming of Mad is giving a lot of decent information away as to where we can find our survivors. Remember, like, you want to get rid of that tier 3 as soon as possible, not just for the sake of being able to do things, anything productive for your team, but also because you are constantly giving away your location if you don't, right? It has to be priority number 1 against the Doctor, getting rid of that affliction. Plus, the information is good. It showed, I was going to say it showed that someone was near that totem.
I don't think we hit that, though. It didn't scream,
yeah.
So I think that totem's about to break, which is 1 of 4. 1 of 3, sorry. That's going to be...
It'll just be undying, so it's like, okay,
it'll just be undying, so it doesn't change anything except for that very occasional aura reading, but Mystic goes second. Did the pallet didn't even break. So, they were on the... Sorry, my bad. They were on the generator. Like, it got DMS. They were... The hallucination was snitching but giving wrong information. They weren't on the totem, they were on the gen.
We don't really pay those hallucinations enough here at DBDL, do we, huh? They're trying to unionize and everything. It's crazy, but we're still holding a lot of space right now. Okay, this is where everyone is apparently. Like, okay, can they get Mystic off the hook? Yeah, possibly. No, actually they can't. Like, they just can't. You know, the top floor is being completely zoned off right now. We know where Mad is, we know where Drago's just gone, we both know that they're nowhere near Mystic, and also they're not working on gens. Normally you'd think, okay, well maybe there's some progress and I should go check on them. Nope, Ruin's been working overtime for you, in the background as well. You know, there simply isn't enough gen progress from these survivors. And the 4K2, the rather delayed 4K2, I would say, but it's still definitely going to be coming out. And guess who we saw with a little bit of cheeky undying action over here? Mad.
Yeah, it's I don't think I spoke too soon. I think there was a world where they got at least another generator done.
Just not this one.
Not,
in another universe.
In another, yeah. I don't. It's unfortunate. I think Mystics was slugged for a while, and Jaden was going around chasing everybody, which was fine. And then when we get the hook on Mystics, there just was no opportunity to save, and the hook was within shock distance. I mean, everything's almost in shock distance in this map, but was within shock distance of... That's going to be a down on Drago. Sorry, the hook and the gen were too close.
Down as well.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I think not breaking the totems. Okay, the one totem I will say, this is something that's interesting. Okay, so let's say you go break the Wretched Fate totem, right? Which does show up in, you do get the aura. I think we're giving up the answer.
I do.
You get the aura as the obsession of the Wretched Fate. If you broke Wretched Fate, it would break Undying, and then you would get aura on the new Wretched Fate totem. There was a pretty easy to do, like, Mad was able to detect totems in a way that the rest of the team couldn't. When you were talking about how are you not breaking totems, I think Mad needed to be the one to do it. At least get Undying out of the way and their Wretched Fate, and then the next totem you find would be Ruin if you wind up finding it. But you could have gotten rid of that 33%. And I mean, in the end, they wound up getting the generator done that they did because we didn't go break Wretched Fate. So there's a lot of shoulda, coulda, woulda, ifs and buts and whatever. But at the end of
coconuts as well, if you're so lucky.
yeah, Jaden played this really well, did really good on the tunnel out, and 4K2 is pretty strong. I think it's matchable. I think it's beatable, but I think it's strong, and I think that it set Team SOR up for a good opportunity to take the step.
Catalysts are just striking me as a team that are going to 5. Like, I don't know what's giving me that impression. Maybe the fact they went to 5 in their first one. Maybe the fact that I think they're having a little bit of an underperformance in this first half. No discredit to SOR whatsoever. You know, Jane had a fantastic time on Doctor there, but like I didn't even hate the micro. There was not a weak link of the team there whatsoever. Of Catalyst on Survivor side, it was just they were making like team decisions. You know, the gen pressure was kind of off, and then there was the incident with the unhook onto the second hook Survivor, which just like it wasn't really being hard camped for a long time, but we did have a Survivor on the hook essentially go from 100 to 0 with the Survivors. Like again, it is not a bad play inherently to let someone die on hook, right? Provided that you're utilizing that time to pump generators effectively, then it's like, okay, we're making a reasoned decision here. We're making a bit of a sacrifice. Okay, sure. It's another thing to say, all right, we want to get this save. We will do a 2-man to ensure that we get it safely. But we'll give up gens in the meantime. Okay, sure. It is another thing to then sheepishly stare at the person on the hook and then do a will they, won't they dance when the killer isn't, like, when they are very unhookable and the killer isn't, like, that nearby. While Ruin is regressing the gens in the background as well, it was just like some baffling macro plays, which is a shame because I said the individual chases were fantastic from every single survivor of Catalyst.
The chases when we said the game was over, and then it, you know, we had a little bit of delay on the game to go over.
Like, okay, dude.
But like those chases were fantastic. Like they were really good chases, like really well done. That chase in the library, even with the wall hacks, Mad got out of there.
Like we're dodging shocks in like tiny lanes.
Yeah.
Like, how are we doing this, bro?
That's not a good palette against against a normal M1 killer without wall hacks. Like that's not a good palette in general, and just really, really heads up play. Fantastic chase, got them kind of back in the game. Unfortunately, again, it didn't really last. I 100% agree with what you're saying. The macro plays. I think that there's some of the things that there are obviously a lot of things that set apart, you know, the best in the world from the sort of like the next thing of the S tier teams and the A tier teams. And I think that one of the things that really sets them apart is being able to make those, to recognize when to make those calls. Look, like maybe the person on hook calls it, maybe somebody on a generator sees the situation, but hey, the killer's here. The killer's, you know, got a good opportunity to shock people from here. And you make that call. No one is going to go touch the hook. Someone is going to work on a generator mildly close to it. So if the killer decides to stop camping, they'll go for the unhook. But we're just going to slam 3 gens while we get 70 seconds of gen time, you know, minus snap out time. Making that call and making that call early in the hook, not late in the hook, right? If you have 15 seconds left on the hook and you go, no, just stick the gens, we're not getting the save, well, you've got 15 seconds of gen time. If you make that call 10 seconds into the hook, you've got a full minute on 3 gens, right? So I think those macro plays you're talking about, I totally agree with you. And I think that it takes a really astute in-game call-out leader to make that call and to say, no, we're doing this.
Yeah. It does. And also like what a start this would be for the series, you know what I mean?
For like because if I had to pick a favorite on paper, I would say Team Catalyst. But as we get further and further through this tournament, every game is going to be more competitive, right? Unfortunately, when it's the first week and we look at the games, let's do a count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 8 of the games were a 3-0, right? Because that's just how the beginning stage works, and then we get later, and the thing that all these teams unfortunately have in common, which sounds brutal to say, they all lost. So they're also going to be more evenly matched in that sense, meaning that we could be here for quite a long, long time. We are, an hour and a half into the first game thus far, and we don't even have our second. We don't even have our second set finished, right? I'm not saying that as a complainer. We want to see as much action as we possibly can here, but like it really does feel like like that meme where it's like main event like boxing matches and they're just like 12 rounds of like throwing pot shots and like slightly ducking, and then just like two like random dudes on the undercard fighting for rent money, and it's just like an all-out war going through, you know what I mean? That's what it feels like we're seeing right here between SOR and Catalyst. They are at war with each other.
Yeah, and I mean, going to a tiebreaker in the first one doesn't help the the fact that this looks like this is gonna be a knockdown. It's like, I mean, mind you, you say that, but Jaden just clocked a 4K2 on Doctor, which I think is, like I said, it's winnable this is winnable or tieable for Team Catalyst. At Mad on Team Catalyst, but this could easily go 2-0, and then we could find ourselves in an elimination match on the Plague match next. So I totally agree with you. The how close these teams are, this could go to 5. But if Sorrow edges out Catalyst 2-3 times in a row, we could be over in 3 as well. So, but we are loading in. We're gonna have Mad on the Doctor needing to beat or match a 4K2. Can you imagine we get another tiebreaker? Meeting or matching 4K2.
No, don't say that. Don't say that.
I'm just like, because in my head, I'm like, you don't got to get a 4K3. You just got to get a 4K2 and force a tiebreaker. But then that comes in my head. Anyways, different build this time. A little bit more of a standard Doctor build and less of a Midwich Doctor build. We've got Rapid Brutality. We've got Sloppy Butcher. Sloppy Butcher I really like. We're not going to get a lot of resets. I don't know if it's necessary on this map in particular. Like, it depends on how the survivors are going to play. Sloppy Butcher is strong on Doctor because Doctor is a good killer to tank hits for, to come in and to provide body blocks and stuff. We didn't see a lot of body blocking last game, so maybe we're just anticipating that the survivors will play differently. I feel like I feel like the totems were really strong because this map is so small and hard to find totems and whatnot. Good. Okay, that was really interesting. Finesse looked like they were going to go to the pallet and then decided they were going to get hit. This pallet's going to drop, right? No range again. No range again. What'd I tell you? Anyways.
No range? Andrew says.
Same pallet. It's the only pallet you need range for on the entire map. Anyways.
Yeah. That you do. We're going to be continuing to see what we can get up to here. Vault through. I don't really think you're allowed exhaustions here if you're the survivors, so I doubt that Finesse had a balanced landing, and now you have a pretty garbage window to play around, and you can't unfortunately get to the much stronger window on the other side. So first down, going to be coming in at 120. Again, basically bang on average. The last down that we saw was 116. How is our gen efficiency, however? We should actually be able to get a generator completed before Pain Res comes out. Maybe with a little bit of luck, Meds can also complete their generator. You barely have time to stick it, but I don't think it's been... with margins that tight, it's better to just play it safe. Meds' gen isn't complete, but provided that someone else takes chase, Meds isn't going to go to tier 3, even if hit with a shock. So we'll see 2 gens fly for the first hook. And then
did Meds get off the gen? Is that what you're saying? Did I miss that?
No, I'm saying that... Actually, Meds has gotten off the gen. Okay.
Yeah.
That
okay.
was interesting. I thought like when you have a 4K1 win con to play around, I am fine with survivors sacrificing team play to do more gens. You know what I mean? That sounds really harsh, but also it's the truth.
Well,
so I'm a little surprised.
there might have been a giant big brain play by the survivors. Look at it this way: they have progress on 2 generators and assuming pain res, right? Particularly because there's no ruin. So I wonder if they're like, look, we're in a good shape right now. Right now, taking this pain res is going to hurt this generator. Then I'll get it done anyway. But in the event we didn't, great body block there by Carafa. In the event they didn't, then their pain res would not have gone off because there was 0 progress on any of their gens. So they thought, let's get rid of the pain res now so it doesn't hurt us later in a situation that's less favorable for us. I'm wondering if that was the play, and if it was, massive heads up play by the survivors of Sorrow. That would be huge.
Yeah, that would be, and it seems like we're inching closer to the Tycon as well. Also, another thing that survivors can take some solace in is like this hook onto Carafa. It will have a small disadvantage in that there'll be a pain res proc, but also, guess who is still alive to live another day? Finesse, and now I wouldn't hate the survivors taking a brief moment to heal up Finesse. Then suddenly Mad has no tunnel out ability, and like to get a 4K you need to have an early tunnel out, especially if you want to stop like 4 generators from flying by. Like you're completely fine, right? Even if the survivors choose to forgo healing Finesse in order to simply complete more gens, that would be fine as well. I also wouldn't hate if they ended up, because Mad is busy right now, sending Finesse to unhook Carafa, and then they can reset each other and be like as efficient as possible in that sense. And honestly, it's looking like that might have been the play, unless it was Meds instead doing it. No, Finesse currently the only one on a generator. 50% completed. That means we have about 2 gens, separate ones, with about 50% progress.
So I want to throw. I know I've been joking about the no range thing. I'm wondering, Matt. We see it more than I'm teasing. I totally agree. Discipline is a great pick. I definitely agree. But what I said about discipline, where it's like if you're not running discipline when you're used to it, maybe you won't get the right timing down. I think we're finding the same thing with range here with Mad. Mad has gone for 3 or 4
That's
shots.
A Tycon.
That's a Tycon. Mad has gone for 3 or 4 shocks. That missed range. So I think it could be the same situation, but with range where they're not. Wow, we found what reset here of Finesse. I think. I think that maybe they are. They're used to the Mad is used to the range and shocking too early. So same situation we talked about where if you're used to discipline, you might not like not running it. I think that Mad hasn't quite got the distances down from being again right there range again. That might have not made it, but still.
And yeah, Finesse is going to be able to make this window as well. Would be the slightly better hook for Mad. It will get you closer to that ever-elusive kill. But there's nothing right now that's stopping. Again, it's as I said earlier, whether the survivors opt to, play a bit altruistically or bully out gens, right? They can unhook Jaden quite safely and get a full reset as well, and they should have time to reset meds as well, realistically, even through Sloppy Butcher. Maybe with the Static Blast, which actually doesn't hit them. I mean, here's the thing, it doesn't progress the madness, which is bad, but we do know now exactly where all the survivors are, and they're able to just about get that reset off in time as the killer arrives.
Good point. Yeah, if you know what does get hit by the shock, then you know what doesn't. And even though you don't get that madness and you don't get the exact pinpoint, well, the only thing I didn't hit was that corner stairwell over there. That's where they are, because nobody screamed. That's a really good point.
I think Rafa just blinded himself there.
Maybe.
I have a theory. He ran right into the firecracker after he dropped it. So, it's a play of all time. And immediately, Jaden is here for the pickup, which is a risk. I don't think it's something that Mad's expecting. It's risky, but looks like it's going to pay off because ultimately, who we really want is Finesse. Body block comes out beautifully by Meds. There is a lot of pressure being slowly piled up onto these survivors. Meds again comes through, takes the down. Rapid brutality means that you don't actually hate it when the survivors take hits for each other. You have the haste, you have the catch-up ability. By the time that you get back to another loop or a tile to play around, like the haste is gone, but you've been able to make that distance regardless, which is pretty good for you. And yeah, Finesse gonna be caught out here. Will be taking a death. Now for the survivors, it's a question. Again, they're going to play very safe, very cautious, and go for a full reset.
This is very close, but the difference maker between the two as far as perks go? Well, they're just different. Last match we had Ruin like completely regressing all of the generators while they were in this situation of resetting and whatnot. But this time we don't have the regression, but we didn't manage to get the full reset here on Garafa because of Sloppy Butcher. So not a good or bad pick as far as perks, just different perks and different value, and we're seeing different value from different choices. I'm enjoying that. Great fake there by Garafa on the vault. We're just not shocking. We're just pressing W. I think. Oh my goodness! And again, Mad falls for it the third time and doesn't spam vault. Wow, Garafa, this is a bad pallet, and we are using our time. Gonna go down eventually, but that was probably about 3 or 4 rotations around that pallet, and we could have got caught on, rotation 2.
Meds and Jaden currently split on 2 separate generators. The good thing is that Garafa has already been... I mean, the silver lining for the survivors, I'd say, is that Garafa's already been hooked, so isn't going to give the pain res regression over. And again, it's a similar situation to what we said last time. If you know what you can hit, you know exactly what you didn't. So you have a rough idea of the gens that Meds and Jaden are working on. But honestly, this is fine here. If we're a bit lucky, we can bait Mad into chasing the survivor who's going for the unhook, and then that leaves the remaining survivor quite safe. Or actually, we do a slightly different play entirely, and we allow a reset to happen onto Garafa. Jaden pre-ran at the perfect time. Honestly, this unhook situation was played perfectly by the survivors. Almost no one at immediate risk of taking an injury. Garafa will get reset, so we'll live for a lot longer. And then Meds and Garafa are free to go back onto the generators, but that's conducive on Jaden having a chase, which lasts longer than 15 seconds.
They're doubling, though.
They'll be fine. They'll be fine.
Yeah, they should get that. This is no pain res. It's interesting, too. Mad made a bit of an error there. Not really his fault. Dropped down because of the... Oh, no. Okay, we're leaving the slug. Okay, we're okay. Drop down because of the hallucination was on the ground floor, but hallucinations for the doctor can drop on the ground floor, in reference to a survivor on the second floor, which is exactly what happened. Jaden was on the generator in the hallway upstairs, and the hallucination spawned below them, below our Lara player, and because of that, it tricked Mad into dropping and got wasn't able to get back to the generator as quickly. Took a little bit longer. This is gonna be Garafa dead. Garafa, pardon me, I'm trying to use the washroom here. We're gonna get the pickup on Jaden. Meds and Jaden are up and active, but this is gonna be a kill. We're down to 2v1. A lot of gen progress on one gen, half gen progress on another. This is the next chase makes or breaks this game.
Meds and Garafa had time to stick that gen and win. They didn't stick the gen, and therefore they probably don't win now because they're in a 2v1 situation. Yeah, I think we're going to be seeing another tiebreaker here, ladies and gentlemen.
I think so. Good lord.
This really is the undercard.
I'll tell you this. If Catalyst wins the tiebreaker, we're going to 5. 100%. Hopefully we don't go to 5 tiebreakers, but we're going to 5. If Catalyst wins... If Campfire wins this, it's not over yet. One of the gens had a lot of progress. If Jaden can make it around to it, we're on the wrong gen. Not the wrong gen.
It's not this gen. That's the wrong gen.
It's not the gen. I know. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, if this goes and Catalyst wins the tiebreaker, we are going 5. We're definitely going to 5.
I mean, right now, Meds has only taken an injury, not a down, so there's still some time here. And I think that Mad is honestly just going to return to, tier 3, which means that the survivors not only need to make distance, but then also need to snap out of it. Only one's going to be able to snap out of it at a time, which for now looks like it'll be Meds. Yeah, like, you don't break the 2v1. You just simply don't for the survivors right now.
And Doctor hallucinations, like you can't even hide. 2v1 and you can't even hide. We know you're down there. That's so crazy. Sorry. And one more thing, Meds. If Meds is the one we down and it's a good chase and Jaden sticks the generator, pain res could end the game for you too. There's still Meds' pain res. This is rough. This is rough. Great. We've had some great chases here, Egdar. This is phenomenal. And that's that. And we're going to get that pain res, and then we're down, and this is going to be... Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that's a lot of. We're getting some deja vu action there, but it's not enough. That's gonna be a pain res and the end of the game.
Okay then. Well, so it has been all but confirmed here. Jaden injured with no way to heal themselves. That took quite a while. I thought that Wiggle could have been possible there. Jaden doing best to hide, but yeah, against a Doctor, that's not exactly a plan that you can rely upon. So
Face camp this, right? You just face camp it and shock through the walls at times to try and get her into. Like, she's not working the gen,
there were
right?
the scratch
So
marks. Yeah, you found them. All right. Well, we're going to another tiebreaker.
tiebreaker midwich.
Also on a map which we just don't see in our 1v1, we do at least have Doctor balancing. Like, Doctor balancing does exist, which is fine.
Is midwich you start in the courtyard? I would imagine. I would imagine courtyard start. Yeah. No?
I don't know where you start midwich, bro. It's midwich. Who the hell does 1v1s on midwich?
No idea.
And Doctor 1v1s on midwich as well. Right. I think Doctor is. I think Doctor is on Wreckers normally. For 1v1s. In Gold Standard it's Wretched, but for 1v1s I think it's Wreckers. So, yep, we're going to be going to another 2v1 tiebreaker on an AHL set, on an indoor map, which we do not have balancing for. So we will be figuring it out on the fly, but hey, at least we have Doctor balancing. You know what I mean?
What a great matchup this
and now
is.
Jaden's warming up. Jaden's warming up for the 2v1.
Yeah, what a great matchup this has been so far. We're only on game 2. We're only on set 2. All right, that's that. 4K2. All we're doing today, guys, is 4K2s. We're nothing but 4K2s on every single match. Doesn't look like she's having a good time. All right. So those of us who've joined us since the last time, since the Myers match, we are doing a 2v1, which is to say we're doing consecutive 1v1s for 2 survivors in Midwich versus the Doctor. The combined total time is your team's time. The longest chase wins. I don't think there's anything abnormal about a Doctor 1v1 here. Use your god. Well, okay, on the 2v1, maybe you guys head for different god palettes. Maybe that's the move. Because there's a god palette in 2 corners opposite each other?
Yeah. Like, you can kind of, you can kind of split yourselves in half. It's not a terrible idea, provided that you're on different areas of the map. The problem is, like, how do I put this nicely? Midwich just sucks, man. Like, it just sucks. Like, no matter what killer you're playing against and you're playing Survivor, it will suck, and you will have a terrible time, and, like, you'll have, like, no friends, you'll have no range, you'll have nothing that you can realistically work with. So it's a tough time for the Survivor. Hear me out, right? Worst possible timeline that we get in. This tiebreak ends in a tie, and we have to redo it again. As a general rule, in case people aren't aware, if timers end within 5 seconds of each other, I think it's 5 seconds. It's
I thought it was
5 or
1, but I might
seconds,
be wrong. I think I read 1.
It might be
1 second. I think it's 1 second. Sorry.
If things end within 1 second of each other, then, or whatever, we've decided we'll get official confirmation in the background. Then to account for human error with the timings, it will be a restart. But again, that is very, very rare. I say that it happened literally 3 times in the 1v1 tournament that happened recently when I was covering it. So, you know, maybe some of these killers are very figured out.
I missed that one, but yeah. I believe if I read and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe I read that it was a 1 second. If it was within 1 second, I think that 5 seconds is more than we need. But that's not a judgment call by me. That's just based on what I believe I read in the rule set. Anyways, so I don't know. Do you have a prediction here? The
No.
survivors of Sorrow warmed up, like you said, so.
I have no prediction because I think it's a similar thing where both these teams had fantastic 1v1s and just like garbage macro. To be honest, there were so many. There was a decision in the first set that I harped on, and there was a decision in this set where they were just categorically not playing for the win con, like, at all. so many situations where it made a lot more sense to just play for the 4 gens. It's fine if everyone dies. It's okay if you give all the hook stages over, if you at least eke out a single extra generator. And the decision making just wasn't there. They were playing arguably a bit too safe into a. They were playing like for so many 1v1s against a killer where the 1v1s can be quite short on a map like this, and where the map itself doesn't really favor survivors in the 1v1 whatsoever. You can't chain a bunch of tiles together when the Doctor can just, you know, shock you at one of them a couple times and then it's completely useless all of a sudden. So both of these teams are just forcing us to the 1v1s. It's what they are really, really good at. Like, they are having fantastic chases over and over again, repeatedly. They just aren't making those decisions that they make individually as a unit.
So it's interesting too. I think our 2 killers had probably the best chases in the Doctor matches. Jaden had a great chase there at the end versus Doctor, and then Mad had that great chase that prolonged the 4K2. That almost was enough to bring back the 4K2. So very interesting that our killers seem to be the ones who are putting in the time. That being said, we don't see one of them. Jaden is not. Jaden will not be doing the 1v1 here. We will have Meds and Finesse. So get set up for this. They're doing a little bit of scouting. The nice thing about Midwich is, other than I think the number one thing in scouting is you need to identify that garbage classroom with the desks, because you don't want to go there. You don't want to go to the one room in the whole place that doesn't have a pallet. And here we go. We are Mad versus Finesse. And we did take range this time, which I'm not surprised about, but we still missed that pallet. So maybe I don't know what the heck I'm talking about.
Yeah, that we do, and a lot of distance being made. Of course, the time's going to be extended quite a while, just by holding W, and pre-dropping. Yeah, that's literally what we're going to see. We're going to see how quickly can I get to the next God pallet, how quickly can I drop that God pallet, and then the moment that I've dropped it, how far can I run away from the killer? You know, it's an elegant strategy, but it's one which works quite well. Also, now we're able to utilize the range quite effectively for both of these killers. Now we're forced onto one of these pallets where you can just get shocked like a bazillion times around it, and you just have to improvise as best you can. Finesse coming really clutch there.
Finesse, rockin' Finesse!
Yeah, essentially completely denies a hit. So very reasonable play coming out from Finesse right now. We are over a minute on the timer, and we're only just going to get our first injury. Second hit should come in a bit quicker. Well, because of the rapid brutality, we're going to be able to close some distance. I estimate that this first down will come in at about the 2-minute mark or so, but we'll of course wait for official combat information of what we get on the board.
Great dodge there by that first shock there too. Finesse wasting maximum amount of time around a pretty weak pallet, and as a result, yeah, so we get these shock where you get around these, but the point is we lose a little bit of distance. No! Oh my goodness, that was going to be so close, and if he'd actually hit that, that would have been huge. If we'd hit that stun and gone out, that would have been massive. Great chase by Finesse there. Great use of Finesse by Finesse. The official time will be 1 minute and 50 seconds, 5-0, so just 10 seconds under 2 minutes. Really well done. Now, I want to point out the fact that what I said might happen, did happen. We used the God pallet at the staircase, but we didn't use the infirmary. So the infirmary pallet, which is right here, is still up. I don't know. We'll see if Meds is going to use it. Not yet, but we are aware of it. So heading upstairs, maybe we're going for a balanced landing play. It looks like we are probably going for a balanced landing play. Maximizing
yeah, definitely gone for a balanced landing play.
Yeah. Maximize the distance before having to get stuck. This is a great loop, by the way. If you can shock, this is gonna go long. When these pallets are down, they're very strong, but you just have to kick one of them. Okay, well, I guess maybe Doctor can prevent it a little bit. This pallet is a little scary, and the fact that we hesitated there for Meds means we will see an M1 come in. Okay. Maybe we go back to the God pallet? I don't know.
Possibly. You have options here for Meds. You had a decent amount of distance. Ooh, now we're going to go to the infirmary. Here's the problem. not against a doctor, not even a god palette, which is why Meds is gonna have to go past it. If you this is like the time buying strategy, and actually, yeah, you get stunned on the correct side if you're Meds. You make so much distance off of this.
Didn't build him a house. I'm disappointed, but really good stun there. The fact that we got away with that, Mad got maybe a little bit, what's the word? Anxious, a little bit nervous, a little bit overconfident, and goes for a swing when we could have gone for a shock and forced it. This is looking really. I think Catalyst this might be a win for Catalyst. I mean, I don't want to. I'm counting out Sorrow. Sorry, this is might be a win for Sorrow. I'm not trying to count out the killer. Sorry, the team, the survivors of Catalyst, but that was huge. 3 minutes and 22 seconds total, Egdar.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal play coming out there from Sorrow. 320. What the official time will be? 322 until. Oh my god, that's exactly what I had on my timer. Oh, I'm sorry. This is why Valoria is the GOAT. The one doing the timers in the background. I should elaborate. But yeah, that's really good. Doctor, it's not about the start of the chase. I'm expecting basically every Doctor 1v1 to go at least a minute, just by virtue of all of the distance being made at the start. You get that minute for free. Doctor cannot catch up with you, especially if you just go and immediately drop some god pallets on his face. Sure, what can he do about that? But in those close quarters, we were seeing as much time being bought as possible. We're either dodging out shocks entirely, we're faking drops and continuing to run. Just supreme amount of confidence in our survivors to get such a good chase. Now, is this a fantastic chase for Doctor on Midwich specifically? Really good question. It's the first time I've ever seen it, so I have no idea, is the simple answer.
It felt strong. It felt pretty strong. It felt like they were chaining tiles together really well. Again, finesse in the underneath the library. That palette alone bought 30, 45 seconds. Like that, the entire process of being in that room until we left that room. And also, when finesse knew that they were going to get hit, they pieced out. They were out the door and took the distance from the hit. Like, they maximized the use of that palette. Barely missed a couple times, particularly the vault. And then they were like, okay, I'm cooked. I'm done. We're done here. We're moving on. Take the distance instead of getting stuck, taking a hit and getting less distance. Literally presses W out the door, down the hallway, takes a hit and gets the massive speed boost. Really heads up play. Very strong 1v1 fundamentals there by finesse. So you love to see it. Jaden obviously did really well as well. But just that palette itself was probably the highlight for that particular 2v1. And we're loading in.
There we are. So yeah, I would agree with you. Right now we're inclined to see Sorrow go up 2-0. It's on the Catalyst Vibes now to make something magical happen out of it. And what a start that would be. What a start that would be, eh? Where, we are we are quite a way through our day right now, and we are currently only not even halfway through the first match. So, teams are playing each other really close. It's exactly as we called it before, right? I'm gonna assume that Paliloop will take the first chase on account of the fact that Mystic has already accidentally used his balanced landing. We do see a bit of a difference in perk choices here. Jaden going for Brutal Strength as opposed to Rapid Brutality. I'm not sure how to feel about that, because, as Doctor, the idea is you don't, unless it's a God palette, you want to avoid kicking it, generally, until you're absolutely forced to. So I think I prefer the Rapid Brutality.
I agree. This is the only right here. This is the only palette, maybe the other God palette that you were right in saying wasn't the Infirmary isn't necessarily a God palette to get the shock off. That palette there, we got a little bit of brutal strength value, but are we going to get much more? Versus Rapid, you got value out of it twice. Now I wonder if we drop this palette or we just take the back. See, I don't like that. I don't like that drop because Paliloop has balanced landing, and we wasted most of our distance on that palette break. It's fine. We got lots of distance. We're still good, but I don't know if it was necessary. Let's imagine you go to that, you get back to the bathroom somehow, and you are dropping down again. and you could have used that. Okay, so Loop is coming to the opposite side and got to the infirmary again, like you said. Not a god pallet when you're getting shot by Doctor. We're gonna keep pressing W. Is this the? I was gonna say, yeah, this is the garbage room.
Yeah, so first hit's going to come in. It's going to come in at 105. You have no advantage or catch-up potential of rapid brutality, so you're really banking on the fact that brutal strength got you some amount of value. Where's where's Paliluke really going right now? Like, you're not really able to utilize the window because that would force you in the corner. You barely get hit with this shock, and you're also being slowed down on your way to the next pallet over and over again. It seems like only a matter of time before Jane's able to secure this next hit onto you. But we're getting close to the 2-minute mark. Yeah, good moonwalk, and it's going to be... I had 1:39 on my timer. The official time also going to be 1:39. Hooray, we're twins. As per usual. So, now, if I can do quick maths, you need a chase of about the same. About 1:30 from Jaden on to Mystic would secure you what you need. The thing is, Paliluke kind of just didn't use much on the top floor and mostly used the bottom floor. So there is an opportunity that Mystic just goes to the top floor and kind of wins out that way.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Again, I mean, it's hard to scout the whole thing, but like, it is a little bit unfortunate that we didn't get. We wound up giving our first hit basically for free. After a decent chase. I like this move here again by Mystics. We're gonna go up here and use our balance sliding run. Just finding that stupid classroom one. I think we're gonna make the pallet. Oh, not quite making the pallet there. A little bit of discipline value there, getting through him. And we're kind of in the same area where Jaden was, I believe. Is that not the garbage room through this pallet? We're going through the garbage room. We got a little bit more distance than Jaden did, but there's nothing in that room. Yeah. This is both survivors going through this garbage room with nothing in it. We got a little bit more distance this time, so maybe we won't take an immediate hit. And, all right, replay time, Mystic's turn. How well can you use this pallet? Are you on Finesse's level? Good pallet throw, a little bit late. Jaden, a little bit late on the shot.
Yep, we get a drop on it, which is going to make it a lot harder for Jane to play around. Ideally, you want to be denying any amount of... you want to deny the drop completely. We will get a hit here. Mystic doing a good job of not actually going back round. We have about 30 seconds left here, so Jaden needs to get this hit within 30 seconds, or else this series will be tied up.
This is very close, but we're running to that's the infirmary. We're back at this pallet. This pallet's broken.
It's nothing.
No, that's nothing. Yeah, we ran. Okay, this was just really unfortunate. Like Mystics just kind of wasn't maybe not playing the chase and not playing the macro, not keeping track of where we've been. That's gonna be 305 total. We are gonna have another win for Sorrow in a total of 17-second different. Am my math right? 17-second different. So combined, Sorrow has won by 42 seconds the first two sets of this matchup.
Goodness gracious, how about that? We are going to be sending things over to a quick break so that we can get some things sorted on our end. But when this is done, we're going to have Plague on the Dead Dog Saloon. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back as soon as we can.
They're running 2 windows of opportunities and something to do with live as well. So that is going to be a... For those of you guys, we're coming into this. We're coming into games we played 2 matches tiebreaker, 2 matches tie, 2 games tiebreaker, and now the team that had the opportunity to sweep is coming into this match with a penalty. So the Catalyst has a better chance to take the set, and we may be getting closer and closer to that Dracula set. It's just getting started. We'll see what happens, but yeah, we're gonna see a penalty here for Team Sorrow. I do believe that actually means someone's gonna have to run on 3 perks as well. But I'm gonna wait and see how we load in here. So that was fun. All of that was excellent insight, Egdar. Everything about delaying the power and all those time really mattered, and except it doesn't matter now.
Yeah, I completely agree. We're gonna basically, when we load back in, the first thing that I want to see, like with immediate effect, is the Gallows 3-gen. But no, the Survivors are doing a really good job.
Oh yeah.
The Survivors are doing a really good job of delaying for as long as humanly possible. It should be either the Jake or the Tap, either Finesse or Meds, who will be delaying their
who will have to bring 3 perks along. Yeah, it'll be Meds specifically. Jake, who is able to run similar build last time, just without the Windows opportunity. There will also, I believe, be a half hook stage penalty for Sorrow. So there's what we can say is that unless we also see a balance offense come out from Catalyst at some point in this set, we won't have a tiebreaker here, right? But aside from that, things are going to be relatively standard. The half stage penalty essentially means you don't have the opportunity to tie with your opponent, meaning that you have to better their result, or you lose. Simple as that. A tie is not sufficient.
This is a little disappointing. The generators are definitely a little bit more favorable for the survivors, just slightly, just very slightly, because that generator there's a generator up on that balcony.
Really early infection.
Very early infection. There's a balcony generator there, which is not really. It's in this sort of 3-gen, but it's harder to reach because you have to go around the building and up the stairs. So that's not bad. So, you know, silver lining for the survivors here, but Finesse did take a pretty early infection, and we're looking to get one on Garapa here too. Not quite getting there. Got a little tripped up on the stairs. Not gonna be able to get there quite yet. Our killers spawned near main building, so the generators out by Gallows are the ones that are corrupted, and I don't think we've gone back and spit on this generator we're looking at right now. So Matt agrees, and Matt is going to go. Oh, never mind. We found our 3 perk meds, and we're going to get a infection on meds.
And an M1 as well, for good measure, right? Yeah. So now for Meds and Finesse, the game changed a bit. For Jaden and Garapa, it is, you know, still avoid the infection at all possible costs. Basically refuse to work a gen that's infected. For Meds and Finesse, it's more complicated. We can work infected gens only if it's safe and only if we have very clearly communicated that the killer is like light years away and won't immediately be jumping on us. So the corrupt intervention going to be wearing off pretty soon, which means that Jane and Garapa will have the ability to work a few more generators. And yeah, for Mad right now, the priority is just to keep the gens completely in check. And the moment that Corrupt expires, actually goes for a Corrupt Purge pick.
I don't know. So there's a lot of different perk options for a lot of different killers and stuff like that. But I feel like when we're talking about Plague, I feel like I was going to, you know, the upgraded Thanatophobia, that changed quite a while back now, but when they changed the Thanatophobia and settled on the rules for the Thanatophobia we currently have, this is going to be very sketchy. Meds is going to have to play this rock very well to maybe get back to the pallet and threaten the stun so we don't get downed here. No, good moonwalk there by Mads. Sorry. Garapa also infected. Thanatophobia. I think Thanatophobia is a fantastic perk. It puts the pressure on the survivors where one of the survivors has to stay healthy. Otherwise, all the survivors get extremely handicapped. And I always wonder the thought process around not bringing it. We'll have to see if it pays off here. But as things stand, like look at your screen right now. Garapa, Finesse, and Meds are essentially injured. Trying to get a droplet through the railing there. If that would put Jaden in a situation where Jaden cannot touch an infected generator, cannot unhook somebody. In the event you do have to, you're gonna have to sacrifice somebody. You're gonna have to sacrifice a pool to cleanse yourself so that you're not stuck 20% slower. Anyways, I think that Thanatophobia is such a strong pick for Plague, only Plague. Like I think it's strong. See now, look, now everyone would be repairing 20% slower or on the way to it. Once the infection's come. Anyways, just a personal thought there, but I think it's a bit of a I think it's such a strong pick. I always wonder why survivors don't pick.
It's also a much quicker first down than what we normally see. By an entire minute, 3:45 is the average first down time for a Plague in gold standard balancing sets. Mav's able to get theirs in 2:45, so already a pretty phenomenally good performance here. No Corrupt Purge to assist here. I believe that is the Gallows generator that's been completed. They put Jaden on that with Bounce Landing, and we put Finesse here as well to try and take a hit. Finesse just did not a great job of it. But we have a flashlight save! How about that? You've got to check exactly where you're going if you're Mad, and Jaden swooping in for the rescue there onto Meds.
Mads, when we were chasing around main building there, good. Oh, transfer over. We're gonna down Jaden. That's good. If we can hook in this corner, it might be a decent place to defend with where the gens are currently.
There's no 3-gen. There's no 3-gen.
No, but there's
Gallows
the gens. These two gens over here are like in the middle of the road. They're not that far. You can kind of proxy camp while doing it. We'll have to see. Anyway, I think that Mad might have been avoiding. I think we were trying to play the window, but also might have been avoiding a head-on in main. But there is no head-on allowed in this, so I'm wondering if that was just a habit. It was earlier a little while back. I actually had to go look and just confirm that we do still have it banned. It is banned. I went to look and make sure I hadn't missed the change. That was a really heads-up play here. We're gonna see a down here, a second down on Meds. You heard the Bamboozler come into play. Very strong perk on Plague and a very strong perk on DDS, obviously because of the main building, which is kind of a challenge. Survivors are doing okay, but things are kind of starting to fall away from them pretty quickly here. We've got 2 generators completed. We're getting closer to a tunnel out here on Meds. Everybody's injured. We still have some Corrupt Purge left. In fact, almost half of our Corrupt Purge. Looks like the Unhook was trying to come in, but we're not going to give space for it. The Purge will run out before we get the before the Unhook needs to come in. But somebody's got to cleanse because we can just stand here and prevent anyone from coming in, and everyone's injured.
Yep. Having that extra corrupt duration going to be a damn good thing for Mad to work with right now. Someone's waiting in the wings because realistically you can't afford to let anyone die. And actually Jaden gonna be getting rid of their infection. Always a risky maneuver against a Plague, but sometimes a very necessary one.
Well, I think that in this situation, you kind of have to do it. Jaden could come in and, well, here's the question. There she is. Okay. She being Laura. We're gonna come in.
All right,
we're gonna get it fairly for free, but now how long can Meds live? Yeah, that was good. I don't know if I like the spit. I think I would have maybe just gone for an M1. Just because the odds
you could have
of
traded at least.
Yeah, the odds of getting somebody fully infected off of your first spit, like you have to hit basically every droplet for that to work. I get the idea, but I don't think there was a world where that was going to happen. So I think the trade would have been smarter. But again, so everyone's injured again. 3rd gen pops. Good chase here using resources. Meds basically has this entire back desert area with several pallets to work to take advantage of. But this is also where we died the first time, so. Oh, good stun!
Yeah, absolutely fantastic stun coming through there from Meds, and now we actually have all the generators completed. Okay, well how about that? Not something that I really expected to see. And for Mad right now, your priority changes because you can't exactly just get meds. You can't exactly just get meds off the floor quickly. So, like, honestly, you want to get a fresh hook here to maximize your stage as much as possible. But it seems like instead you're going to be content with getting meds, and that'll only be 4 stages. Considering the start that Mad had, this is a really surprising performance. The clutch save onto meds was massive.
Like taking that hook, that feels like quitting. I don't understand that pick at all. I don't get it. Like, you have everybody injured. The gens just finished as you got the down. Go find somebody. Go find somebody and kill them. I don't understand picking meds there. You resign yourself to a 4 hook too fresh. That feels like almost you're giving up. I don't understand the thought process there. Maybe thought that they had enough time to pick up hook and find somebody else. I can't think of a logical reason to pick up meds there. Like, it's better to go let meds get picked up and escape and find somebody else and down them and kill them than it is to take the 1 hook. You know? I don't know. I'm kind of speechless about this. I feel like that was definitely an error. And that sets up Sorrow with a really pretty easy win condition to take the whole match today and eliminate Catalyst, because we need 5 hooks now. We just need 5 hooks. 4 hooks won't cut it, right? Because of the penalty. But 5 hooks is a straight win. Doesn't matter how many freshes you have.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, and now, like the game changed a bit. I'm just so surprised that Catalysts aren't gonna be. I say aren't gonna be winning out here. Anything can happen, of course, right? But
Sure.
like, I'm surprised that that was such a, I guess, poor performance because remember, Catalyst, like, they realistically shouldn't be in the lower bracket. You know, they had a really close loss to Umbrella, which really could have gone either way. And I guess we just didn't get a lot of game tape on Sorrow because, you know, they had to go against Invictus, right? But maybe we were underestimating Sorrow as a team. They seem to be, at the very least, able to match these sets and then obviously win the 1v1s, which, you know, certainly helps in their favor. And there we've finally seen a definitive, yeah, fantastic survivor performance, right? You know, for a killer which is so good at defending 3 gens, as much as me sometimes complain about it, it seems like Mad was really not concerned with like any kind of gen defense, which is, you know, it's good if you can get your downs immediately, but if you can't, then you're kind of screwed.
It's yeah, it's really hard to say. Like you said, Sorrow up against Invictus. It's hard to tell if that was they got beat or if they just went up against Invictus. You know, like whether they played badly or they went up against Invictus. I will say this, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw a little bit of a clarification on something I said earlier in the beginning of this matchup this morning. Myers match. I can't remember who it was. I actually I think it was Jaden. I called out. I said maybe they're like that was a really strange move. We left that pallet in favor of a window we'd never met, and I wonder if that's just some nerves and we need to calm down. Well, I think it was nerves. We need to calm down. And Jaden's had a solid day and is leading Team Sorrow to what could be their first victory in this tournament. So definitely, I think it could have been the warming up, getting the jitters out, and you know, playing the game you want to play. Because if I could say anything, I can say that Jaden's played the game you want to see Jaden playing today. So what do you do if your team missed? What do you do if your team Catalyst here?
Lock in really aggressively, right? Like it will depend as to how our killer chooses to play here, right? There's 2 trains of thought which you generally get as Plague. Either you try and spread pressure with a bunch of infections early, or you try and play around power, right? Or you go for a little bit of a hybrid. You know, it's a spectrum where, you know, one end you have like hard 3-gen, you go for like a Hematite Seal add-on play with the Natophobia to slow down the gens as much as possible. That obviously relies a little bit on RNG of getting a good 3-gen, but of course sometimes you just have a disgusting Gallows 3-gen setup and that's how it is. Or you bring things like the Apples and the Devotee's Amulet to be able to have a power more often, a Corrupt Purge, and extend it for as long as possible. And you play a really aggressive style. You have to identify exactly what the killer's going to do early on and then adapt to it, right? Delay, aside from that, it's just fundamental stuff, you know? Delay for the infections. And, you know, lock in, because it is do or die right now. And there is a world in which you completely lose out. Jaden isn't going to have the Gallows 3-gen to work with, so at least the survivors can breathe a small sigh of relief.
And it's fair, too. That means both of them didn't really have a great 3-gen. I don't know if I like this play. We need to be very, very much stalling. Okay, this could be a bait, and it could be, you know, I might eat my words. Pele runs out and makes himself visible.
Oh!
That barely hit that. Pally runs out and, like, you know, look at me, takes the injury. Maybe trying to take a chase. But I feel like a little bit of stealth or at least a little bit more caution could have been called for in that situation. But we'll have to see how it plays out. Pallet Loop is infected, so Knuff really work the generator at main. Not that main is really a great gen to work. These 2 gens by a water tower are very close, Egdar. There's one like in the corner by water tower, and then one like just in the first tile. That is very, very scary for our survivors. One thing I will note, though, we don't see Bamboozle, so we may have some trouble at this main building. We'll have to wait and see how the chases go.
Yeah, definitely. And like we actually know that Power Loop's one up here. It's the infected gen. You hear the coughing, and it's reasonably the safest one that your injured survivor can be working on. For Jaden, I'm interested in exactly what he's doing right now. Like Power Loop would just be on the top floor. So I'm not exactly sure where you're looking. It seems like time just kind of being wasted, but again, the survivors don't really mind. The survivors sure as hell don't mind. They're just waiting for the infections to run out on those generators, but it's not going to happen. Drago again eats a relatively quick infection, and Jaden just going to be very, very careful with these gens. Aside from the main building, which is just like that's free.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Jaden is really focusing on gen defense more than anything.
So the Call of Brian pick is interesting. Obviously, it's got a bit of a buff. If you kick a generator and walk away and they get right back on it, you don't get a lot of value out of the extra regression, but it does give you information. Obviously, again, knowing that someone's working on main building doesn't really help you, but it could potentially down the line give you a little bit more information. We are going to get our corrupt pool here and see if we can maybe get it down here on Pally Loop at the main building. But the main building, if you can hold some lines here, yeah, if you can hold some lines, you might not get very far. Are we going to continue this chase in the worst place for killers on the map, or are we going to maybe go range out? We see Mad on the HUD there did just touch an infected generator. Jaden is keeping really good distance here, and we're not, I mean, right now we're just playing Ring Around the Rosie with our Corrupt Purge. We haven't even had an open shot to take a try, let alone get it down here, so this is going very well so far for the team of Catalyst. I don't know about this kick out. Some people kick this door out to try and make an interesting like sneak play, but it also gives the opportunity for a different loop. It may have paid off though, so hold that thought.
Yeah.
Can we get the down here?
Yeah, aside from like the potential head-on play, we are going to see it down come out, and an eruption proc as well, so certainly not bad here. Now we can get the ball rolling a bit. We're barely going to have a generator completed by Mystic. Drago and Mad gonna pair up on some other ones. First hook are gonna come out. This is where things could prove to fall apart for the survivors. It was a slow first down from Jaden, a very, very slow one, 323, so coming in closer to the standard Plague average, but again, that's not necessarily a bad thing for Plague. It's always good if you have a quick first down, but it is not always bad if you have a slow one, especially when you are a gen-inclined Plague player.
So this is going to be coming down to that same situation we found ourselves in last match, where I am forgetting who was playing Lara, but Lara had to jump off of main and get that unhook. This time it's going to be our ace player Mystics. Don't get hit. Yeah. We may. I think this is going to come down to how this unhook comes in and whether they can get away with it cleanly. Jaden has the benefit of knowing, hey, and this just got infected. Because you can literally stand here and face camp this person to death and hook one more person, and all you got to do is get to second stage, have somebody trade or something like that, and you can win it. Like, I know that's not the best strategy. I'm not saying it's a winning strategy. There is a world where the survivors get out, but you can heavily camp this given your win condition. If we get a situation where we get a 6 hook 2 fresh, yeah, this Pally Loop is dead on first hook, and then we just need one more down.
Yeah.
Well, okay, we're not camping, so maybe I'm wrong, but you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, and every survivor's injured. Like, cleansing here wouldn't really do a ton for you. You actually saw someone go for that unhook. Didn't get anyone. Oh, okay, Drago, what was happening there, brother? Did not make any amount of distance whatsoever. And so now Drago's going to be going for that hook. 3 stages going to be secured for Jaden. And things are definitely looking up for Sorrow.
Again, I'm talking about the most boring possible outcome here. You hook Drago here. You camp it out a little bit. You have a pool, your other corrupt pool right next door here. Look how close those gens are, like I was saying earlier. And then this one in the middle of the street too. This 3-gen, yeah, this is, I'm sorry. I see, this is almost over. We've got everybody injured. We've got a corner hook. We've got a corrupt pool, and we've got a 3-gen really close to each other with a hook in the 3-gen. I don't see a world where the survivors get away from this. And if Drago goes to struggle, it's game over. No, it's not. I'm sorry. That's the 4th hook. I apologize. That's not true. Drago has to die on hook, but still, this is we're looking cooked here. We need to get somebody to cleanse, and even if Jaden hears the cleanse, I think you just drink the pool and face camp it. I don't know. What do you do in this situation?
And you have a corrupt pool right next to you as well.
Yeah, like what do you do in this situation?
Give up, basically. If Drago hits second, you drink from the corrupt pool, and then you stand in front of Drago. You cannot get the gens and get Drago off the hook. It just won't happen, right? You know, we talk so much about the Gallows 3-gen, but what if I told you about the secret ending, the Water Tower 3-gen instead?
The middle of town 3-gem. Yeah. So, and nobody's cleansed. There's only one generator they could be working on. The survivors have to know that their win condition is creeping down on hook here. And there we go. Even if you double unhook here, even if you cleanse 2 people and double unhook, you cannot double unhook against a power Plague. Can't happen. And do they realize that if Drago dies on hook, it's over? I don't even like. Frankly, Jaden is giving you. Next down is a next hook is a win, but I don't even like the fact that we're giving you such a room. But there's no way we get out of this corner, so never mind. It's over. Yeah, that's gonna be I'm literally calling a win for Sorrow already. There it is. That's the win for Sorrow.
Wow. And how about that, right? First team that's going to be officially eliminated from All Hallows League, and in kind of surprising fashion, I would say. Team Catalyst. I had them pegged as the favorite to win this one. They had such a competitive match with Umbrella, but I guess the problem with Sorrow going against a team like Invictus is like we couldn't really see what they were capable of. So, you know, big congratulations to Sorrow. They're going to have a matchup against Exodus again in the lower bracket next week. But yeah, for now, we have to unfortunately say goodbye to one of our top teams.
The lesson here, kids, is don't neglect your 1v1s. You never know when they're going to come into effect, because the majority of these matches were decided by, again, what was the total? 47 seconds? The difference between 2 wins and 2 losses was a combined total of 47 seconds in 4 chases. That's like an average of 10.7 seconds per chase. That's how much. That's how Team Sorrow won this. Obviously, this Plague set is looking to be a bit of a blowout, but the other 2 were so close that we couldn't even decide it in the... Oh, didn't hit the window there.
But I'm surprised that this Plague set was such a blowout, because this was the pick of Catalyst. They wanted to go here, but they also just kind of misplayed. I think they didn't have a really good kill performance at all, not necessarily because of the survivors playing up, but because of the killer making a lot of errors. Again, it's with both these teams, their macro decisions are sometimes questionable. We'll put it like that.
Picking meds at the end there, again, like, I would love to, like, I don't want to harp on somebody when they just got eliminated, but, I mean, what was the thought process there? Was, like, the only thought process I can think of is, now they're all out anyway. But they had just started on the door. You know, I guess there is a world where what's the thing people usually do when you finish all the generators against Plague? Usually you go and cleanse. So maybe they're thinking, I don't have power. But then if they're cleansing instead of on the door, you can grab a power and down. I don't have, other than I don't want to play in this tournament anymore. I don't know why you pick up meds there. That's the only thing I like, you know, that's the only explanation. And it's obviously not the explanation. I just can't understand why. Did this mind game work? It did not work. It had something to do with Pally Loop is fantastic, by the way. Sad to see Pally Loop go. Very, very well played in a lot of matches and chases here.
Everyone was looking at that table like I wanted a drink, and like, yeah, me too, man. But no, I completely agree with you with what you said. Like, it's not even just the fact it would be more stages, but a fresh hook as well. Just for scoring, it was really, really strange. And what we're actually going to end up leaving here with is, I mean, at least 7 stages, right? If Mystic also gets picked up, then that would be 9 in total, and we would be stat padding as much as humanly possible. Not quite a 4K, which we do sometimes expect to see on Plague. She 4K is about like a 20% rate, so it's not absolutely insane for the survivors to be getting out here, but you know, we didn't even know how this would play out when we started this matchup, right? I was the one who was like, it'll probably be an easy like 3-0 for Catalyst, and as it so turns out, Catalyst have to pack their bags and head to the nearest airport.
Again, I point out the way the first match started with the Survivors of Sorrow. I was very much favoring Catalyst as well, and I swear it was just jitters. I swear it was just nerves. First game of the day, or first game on the stage of the day, and they really locked in and they made it work. So yeah, everybody, that is going to be Sorrow moving on in the lower bracket. That is going to be Team Catalyst. Tip of the hat, nod to you for a valiant effort, but they are going to be eliminated from the AHL tournament for 2025.